Check, 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 check. Check, check. Oh, there we go. We got sound. How's everybody doing this morning? Welcome, y'all. We hope we have a good program for y'all today and you learn a lot. First off, we're going to have a Board of Trustee, Carl Sanders, come up and give you a little welcome. Carl, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. I want to tell you just real quick, I'm probably one of the newest board of directors with the organization. I've been on the board for about a year now. I have 20 years of military service, and after the military I worked for the state, and I got 20 years with the state. We want to welcome you today, but today is not about us, it's about you, right? And I want to do something that I haven't told anyone I was going to do yet. But how many people here have over 40 years of service? That's fine. How many have 40? Raise your hand high. See, we got several. How many have over 30? Wow. Now, how many have over 20, like me? Okay. So when you add all that up, we literally have hundreds of years of service to the state just in this room, right? But also I want to welcome the folks that are online, because we got a bunch of people online because we're doing it live stream, right? But if you look at all the service that's represented, I personally wanted to thank everyone for your dedication, for your service to the state of North Carolina and to the local governments. We have about 65,000 members. Can you imagine how loud, if we all speak with one voice, how loud we can be heard, 65,000? Now here's the trick now. Now each one of you told someone else about the organization and got them to join, we'll have 30,000. Can you imagine what kind of voice we'll have then? You know what I mean? So I just want to encourage everyone, you know, this is a great organization, but it's great because of you. And you can make it greater by tapping the people you know. I know everyone knows someone else that retired because you didn't work by yourself. You know, so I know you probably know several people that have retired that's not a part of the organization. And since I've been here for the 1 year, I'm looking forward ahead with the plans that we have in place, and it's going to be exciting. And we want to get you more involved to make the organization have a louder voice, because then we'll have a greater impact. You know, sometimes they, you know, play with our cola. Well, most of the time they play with our cola, right? But if we had a loud voice, I'm telling you, they wouldn't play with it as much. You know what I mean? So I just want to encourage you to continue to be a part of the organization and then tell others about the organization so that we can have a louder voice. And once again, I just want to welcome everyone. And one thing, when you leave here, you will be well informed. Now, I've been here 2 days. This is my second day here, and I keep getting bombarded with one question primarily, and that is, where's the restroom? So I'm going to close with that. The restroom is right when you picked up your name tags, right before you got to that table, there's the restroom for men and women, okay? But thank you and enjoy.
Let's give Carl a round of applause. Thank you, Carl. We appreciate you so much. I'm Richard Rogers, Executive Director, and I'm going to be leading you through the next part of the program. It basically has little three components we're going to talk about. One is we're going to talk a little bit about that bag of information you got. Then I'm going to give you a little update on the activities that we've been involved with the legislature and otherwise. And then, as Carl mentioned, the plans. We have been working on a strategic plan, and we want to go over that with you and also get some feedback from you as a result. So there's two things I want to point out. In that packet of information, there's a lot of stuff. Two things I want to point out. One is this yellow page. This yellow page is, we'd like for y'all to fill this out throughout the morning. You don't have to do it right now. And we are looking to get more engaged in our local and communities around the state, and we want some information from you about what you're interested in participating on. We want your email, we want your phone number, your cell phone, so we can contact you a little more effectively as we move forward. When you get done with that, we'll leave it on the table at the end of the meeting, and we will pick it up. The other is a page that's entitled Important Resource Contact Information. This is a page with all the phone numbers, contact information for the presenters, plus other information that's important to you. It has a state health plan on it. It has our supplemental insurance information and all kinds of things, SHIP program. You're going to have several presenters up here today that's going to rattle off phone numbers to you. The phone numbers are on here. The websites are on here, so you don't have to worry about scribbling it down. All right? Next, I want to talk a little bit about, I don't know, it's on my mind, I think it's on everybody's mind, is the legislature and what they're doing. The legislature began its session back in January. Y'all, they're still in session. They should have been done about mid-July. They can't seem to get themselves a budget, but they are working on that. We came into session back in January with about 4 basic priorities that we were focused on. Obviously, one is a cost of living adjustment for our retirees, our public servant retirees of North Carolina. The other 3 are making sure that the retirement system is fully funded for the state. That's a very critical thing to make sure that you continue to get that $500 million that goes out every month to retirees across North Carolina. And then also making sure that the state health plan is well funded as well. With regards to both of those issues, the budget, the process there, we have had the Senate pass their budget, the House pass their budget, but they have not come to agreement between those 2 budgets, so currently we're in conference. The conference started out with about 70 different members of the legislature, House and Senate involved. It's down to the Speaker of the House, the President Pro Tem, and the Governor, who will begin meeting today to discuss how they're going to come up with a budget. Unfortunately, the last biennium we did not have a budget. It was put together piecemeal. The state continued to run, but we didn't have a comprehensive budget. So hopefully they're going to get their heads together and bring us a comprehensive budget. The timeline on this is TBD, to be determined. Hopefully they stay around the table, they communicate, and they resolve their differences and come out with a budget. In that budget, both the Senate and the House version now, and as well as the governor's budget that he proposed back in March, they fully fund the state retirement system and also the state health plan. Related to broadband, which is another item that we were focused on this year. This past year of COVID has made us realize that connectivity is critically important for us to sustain ourselves, whether it's through telemedicine or what have you, but making sure we have connection so that we can carry on life and get our needs met. Broadband is another item that the legislature has taken up, and the governor too. Currently there's about $750 million in the budget for broadband expansion, so that is good news as well. Now, the cost of living adjustments. As I mentioned back in January and in March, the surplus of budget was about $6.5 billion over and above what the last budget included. That's a good amount of money. We came in excited. We proposed a 2% cost of living adjustment for retirees, state retirees. For the first time ever, we had a bill introduced for local government retirees for a bonus. The reason it was a bonus is that this is the first time that we've asked the legislature directly to fund the COLA or a bonus for local retirees. The legislature sees that as a local investment. They fund the system. They don't typically put money into the local retirees' cost of living adjustments, but given the surplus, we felt like it was needed, and we needed to do that. So we had those bills introduced. We had a 2% COLA for state retirees in both the House and the Senate. And the bills in the House moved through our Pensions and Retirement Committee and went to the Appropriations Committee for consideration. The Senate passed their budget first. There was zero in there for state or local retirees. They did not see it, the need to provide a cost of living adjustment. The House appropriation chairs, we worked closely with them, worked hard on it, and they provided a 2% bonus in each year of the 2-year budget for state retirees, but they did not include anything for local retirees. The governor's budget had a 2% cost of living adjustment for retirees and a 2% bonus. So that's kind of where we are and what's on the table as it relates to retirees. So we are yet to have it resolved. We're looking forward, and hopefully in the near future we'll have that resolved as well. I want to spend just a little moment on the retirement system itself, just some perspective on things related to the retirement system. You're fortunate today. The treasurer is going to be joining us later and speak to the group, and so that's exciting. The retirement system is about $124 billion currently. It's at all-time high. And it is doing very well. It has about 340,000 retirees that draw retirement on it. And as I mentioned, about $500 million go out monthly. Over $6 billion annually are paid out from the retirement system. The point here is we got a well-funded retirement system. The legislature and local governments fund our retirement system. We're very healthy, and that is a very good thing. The legislature probably puts in about $1.6 billion annually to the retirement system to keep it funded, and it goes up every year about $200 million, and they keep funding it, so we're very grateful for that. Local government is the same way. It continues to rise, and they continue to fund it and put the money in they need for the plan itself. The state health plan as well is about a $1.2 billion in cost to the state, and all told, the state budget is about 20% goes to retirees for the state of North Carolina. So I think it's a good place to be. We have support related to funding the system, but we need to expand that support to make sure they support cost of living adjustments, because your cost of living is important to maintain your pension value, and we'll continue to work on that. Now I'm going to move on to something that the association and the board of directors has been working on for the last 12 months. Back in September of 2020, we started a strategic planning process. This association has been around for 50 years. We have done a great job. We have served our members well, but we've got another 50 years that we want to be in a place, in a position of authority, in a position that we represent our retirees well. So we took the time to do some polling of our members, polling of our non-members to figure out what it was we were doing well, what we weren't doing so well. As a result, in June, the Board of Trustees, the Board of Directors, passed a strategic plan for a 3-year period that we'll be working to implement. I'm going to go through that real quickly here for you. In your packet, there's this handout. It's about 3 pages that you can look on as well as we go through. The QR code here is something you can download, and then you can bring up the plan and the information on our website for your benefit as well. Honor and build is what we've titled this. The idea here is we want to honor our retirees, those public servants that served a career in North Carolina and local governments, and build. We want to build our membership, as Carl mentioned. We want to build our service and make it a greater and better thing for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about those options that we have in just a moment that we're looking at to better serve you. There we go. So we looked at our mission, our vision, and core values. When we looked at our mission, it's in our bylaws, And I don't know, it was about 14 lines long, 3 or 4 sentences, and we figured we need to hone it down to something that I could actually remember what it was all about. So here's what we came up with: to advance, promote, protect benefits, interest, and well-being of North Carolina retired state and local public servants. One thing I want to note on here is that we have identified you as state and local public servants. This group was initiated by state retirees. Locals were brought in very shortly after that. But one thing is that y'all's issues from local to state sometimes are different. And we've got to recognize that and better represent everybody in the place that they are. Our vision, this is the first time we've had a vision in 50 years, and we thought long and hard, and this is where we want to be. This is where we want to go as we move through this strategic plan and implement it. We want to be the voice and go-to resource for North Carolina retired public servants. This, in our mind, is that we want to make sure that you have the resources that you need to live a quality life in retirement, as well as other agencies. We want the legislature, the governor, the treasurer to come to us to ask what the needs of retirees are, and we're going to work on that with greater partnerships. Core values, we really reflected on public service and what we came out of public service with and what we engaged in our whole careers as public servants. Service, obviously, we want to provide and keep our members and their needs in the forefront of everything we do. So we are making you the priority in our efforts. Integrity, one of the things that we are interested in doing is making sure that integrity is something that we maintain and keep as we move through, as we expand our partnerships, as we get more in depth and engaged with our legislature and local government elected officials. Collaboration, expanding our association with other like associations like us that serve retirees. I was at the North Carolina Coalition on Aging annual meeting. They have 75 different agencies that are a part of them. They have all kinds of agencies that provide care for retirees and the older population. There's lots of opportunities and information that we can glean from them and pass on to you to help you in your retirement. Diversity is another area. It should always be in the forefront in all the activities that we do, and we'll continue to do that and try to make sure that diversity is a primary focus of ours as we move forward in our work. One of the things that we need to do is start recognizing the diverse areas that our members have come from. We got educators, we got retired highway folks, we've got retired law enforcement, and start integrating them and their groups into ours. We've got 6 different strategic goals that we evolved and worked on and approved as we move through this strategic plan. I'm going to briefly go through these, and advocacy is one of our major goals. It's one of the things that we have been, we were created for, to interact, engage with our local and state elected officials. We got to do a better job, right? One thing that we realize and know is that we can do a better job, but we need the help of our membership. We need to make our advocacy more local. We need to get engaged in the communities, get with our legislators at home, have our members build the relationship with them with our support to better educate the members of the legislature, better educate local government, elected officials about what it is, how retirement works, how you are suffering because of the lack of cost of living adjustments. Service is another area that we want to expand. Service is providing y'all information, educational opportunities. We want to expand our website, make it more interactive, make sure that the information there for you is serving you and meeting the needs that you have in retirement. Communications. we've got to do a better job of communicating. We've got retirees like me who I like the newsletter in hand, right? I like to get mail. I like to have it in my hand in order to read it, but we've got a whole group of folks that are getting ready to retire that have grew up in the digital age, that would prefer to have it online, that would prefer to get an email rather than a letter, that would prefer to get tweeted at rather than get a phone call. So we've got to adjust our communications. Now what we're going to do is expand it. We're going to continue what we are doing, but we need to expand it in order to capture the new retirees coming into retirement. Awareness. Y'all, people don't know who we are. One of the things we did was poll folks outside, and nobody knows who we are. We've got to do a better job of making folks aware of who we are and what we're about and what we do. And that's one of the primary things that we have to do and want your input and feedback on as well as we go forward. Public perception, again, is an area that for the last 30 years, public servants have gotten the short end of the deal. People don't respect the public servants as they did in previous years. We've got to regain that respect, regain that connectivity with the public and the value of public service. This is a big, big thing for us. It covers the whole state, it covers local, it covers state, but we're engaged in that and want to start changing that trend of people not respecting the public servants and the value of the public servants and what they have done to make this state a great place. Local engagement is one of the key factors that we'll be working on and the key strategy in this effort. It kind of encompasses all these others as we move forward. We need to get out in the community. We need to get boots on the ground, working in communities on the association's behalf, and also providing better connectivity with you at your home. And that's one of the primary things that we're going to work on in local engagement. In fact, last year we hired a new staff person, Dr. Daryl Fulmer, and she is coming up and give you a little overview of the things that she's been working on over the last few months, even with COVID in place, to get connected with our communities and where we're headed in that effort. Daryl?
Let me get this mask off. Thank you, Richard. Good morning, everyone. All right, I like that. You're looking beautiful this morning, and thank you so much for coming. And to those online, we're happy to have you here as well. I'm just going to chat with you a little bit about what we've been doing with our community advisory boards and how we have been trying to locally engage in a different way than we have before. And I had an opportunity to speak briefly with many of you this morning, and thank you to those who filled out the form already and said that you were willing to join us in our efforts. Our efforts are what I'm calling a very exciting team of people, and we only need a few good people to work with us to get all of these things going. And we've been working over the last few months. I joined the organization during COVID, so I've only been here a little over a year. And we have managed to work with a number of our members from some of the other districts via Zoom this whole time. I haven't seen anyone except for waist up. So we'll be happy one day when we can see the whole person. But it's been very exciting and very invigorating to know that our members are so excited about helping us to be better, to better serve you in a different way than we have before. By the way, I also write the District Connections newsletter, article in the newsletter, so please read that because that will keep you up to date as well about some of the activities that we have going on. So we want you to become active with us. And that's what we've been stressing with our members in some of the other districts that we've already started working in. And we want you to join us in these exciting efforts that we are doing. So 3 of the activities that have come up from our members of these groups are as follows. One of them you heard Richard talk about briefly a moment ago. That's advocacy. And that's really, really important for us to do that because our voices are needed. And Carl, when he introduced and welcomed all of you, he talked about how important it is for us to be a big voice so that we don't have to fight so hard for some of the things that really we deserve as state and local governmental public servants. I've been a public servant in a couple of states for the last 34 years, so you know, I'm with you with all of this, and we want what we deserve, and we should not have to really do that fight. And so our voices are important. He'll be talking to you more about that. The second one is health and wellness. We are living much longer than we have been in the past, and we have a lot of 90-year-old members, and other people will tell you more about that later. But so thank you. So that's right, I'm kind of short. Has anybody noticed that? And my husband is 6'5", so we look like Mutt and Jeff. He has it going on. He's sitting right over there. But anyway, we have a lot of members that stay with us for many, many years, and many of you raise your hands over 40. So we want to stay healthy, and we want to pay attention to our wellness. So our members have told us that they would like to connect with organizations that do that. So we're busy partnering with our senior centers that offer a lot of activity, art classes, Zumba classes. They are intricately, either directly or indirectly connected with Meals on Wheels. There are all kinds of things that are being done with home delivery or people being able to come by and pick up food or join in lunches. So some things are opening up a little bit better. And so you want to be involved with that. We have collaborated with UNC Charlotte right here on a caregiver workshop. So you'll hear more about that in our November newsletter, where these workshops will be offered free because people are, experiencing that either you're caregiving for a family member or you need a caregiving yourself. And we want to teach people how to take care of themselves as they are doing that. All of this is free to you. We've collaborated some with Humana. There's neighborhood centers. There's one right here in Charlotte, and I'm going to try to visit that this afternoon. So we're working hard to partner with entities. As Richard said, there's 75 with the North Carolina Coalition on Aging, so we're trying to partner with many of our institutions just to make sure that you can take advantage of these activities, and we become the go-to resource. So all you have to do is click on NCRGEA and you'll find out all these things. The third thing is welcome to retirement, and we have many members who have told us that they needed information pre-retirement, and we're going to provide that to you, and that you also need information about what to do as you are in post-retirement. So we're working hard on all of these activities, and these are activities our members have told us that would be beneficial to you. And we want you to join us so that you can tell us what will be beneficial here in the Charlotte district, the District 6 that you're in, and we want you to join us. So I'm outside. There's a form on my table. There's also a QR code if you want to fill out the form online, and we would greatly appreciate your participation because this organization is about you. So thank you so very much, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the day. Here you go, Richard. Sorry if I took too much time. But you know what?
You did good. Thank you so much, Daryl. All right, so right now we're going to engage you as members. We want to get some feedback from you. On your table, there's a handout that looks like this. Everybody got one? Look at it. So we want to get your phone. We want you to put the QR code on your phone. How many of you have done QR codes on your phone? Oh, yeah. Good. So download that QR code, and it's going to come up and should provide some aha slides, and we're going to get some interaction and feedback from you in this effort. Let me, y'all are in trouble. Now I got to find it so I can pull it up. Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
It's telling me to open something or other slide com.
Yep.
Yes.
Just tap on that.
I don't know how to get.
It should give you a little.
I'm on it. It says take a picture of it, and then it says
Rusty, can you put me in your.
should take a picture.
So if you don't have a QR reader, there's a website, ahaslides.com, and then /BIKAG, and you can log in that way through your browser. Some folks getting it? So we also have an alternative method of actually telling us what you like and don't like too. We'll implement that as well, all right? We'll give this a go. All right. Rust, if you could bring up the slides real quick. All right, people are already voting. So we've got several slides here. We want to run through and get your feedback on some of the things that we're interested in learning from you. So Daryl was just here talking about local engagement and opportunities in your area. We've got 4 or 5 things here, and we got people voting about what they would be interested in as it relates to participating in our local engagement. Now, what I want to do is ask the audience and those that aren't engaged through AHA Slides, we're going to get by a raise of hand what you're interested in doing and participating in as well. So in-person meetings, how many folks here would like and engage with in-person meetings? Y'all, this is an easy one. You're here. We're in person, so, all right. There we go. All right, y'all are glad to be here. That's what it tells me, y'all. All right, keep them up so we can count them. We're going to try to add that to our numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 'Got about 35. That's good. That's good news. All right. How about virtual events? We've all been to them. We've all participated in them, right? These are events like webinars where you can learn more. We've had several webinars about financial security. We've had webinars talking about our supplemental insurance information. How many folks would be interested in participating in that type of virtual event or even training and advocacy? Let's raise your hands and hold them up, and we'll get those. About 16 there. All right. Opportunities to get involved with advocacy efforts. How many of you would attend a meeting if we had your local legislator or local elected official come and we wanted to talk to them about our priorities and what our concerns are? All right. 1, 2. About 25 there. All right. Education, learning, and training. One of the things I think we can do a much better job is making sure we provide information that you're interested in, that you want to learn more about. Senior care and adult and aging care of a spouse or a parent is something I'm involved with it now that you don't know, and things change daily. And supporting that, as Daryl mentioned, working with UNC Charlotte and that kind of thing. Those types of things about learning more about an area that you're interested in, perhaps your financial planning or things of that nature. How many folks would be interested in learning about those, either in person or virtually? 1, 2. $27. All right. Volunteering. How many of you would be interested? And again, we want to come into your community and connect with your community. Daryl mentioned Meals on Wheels as an opportunity that we may be able to support their efforts by delivering meals or providing information or supporting them financially even in your area. And there's lots of other things going on, volunteering at a little fair in town and those kinds of things. How many folks would be interested in participating that way? I got 20 there. That's great. It's social networking. That one always leaves me with a question, right? Connecting through social engagement with Facebook, with Twitter, those types of things, of networking with other like retirees, building a little group of folks that retired out of your same area, whether you're at the highway department or if you're a local law enforcement, getting a group together and having a little Facebook page or something of that nature. Anybody interested in that kind of networking? Right. About 6 there. All right. All right, great. All right. The next slide is what would make you most interested in attending regular local events. So if we came in and had a regular group, as Daryl mentioned, a community advisory board, and they scheduled a meeting, had a speaker, what are the types of things you would like to have or hear about at such a meeting that would make you want to go? One thing I always like at meetings is food, right? So food, I'm there, sure. Sounds good. So on the AHA slide, if you just give us a word or two, and then we can bring that up and review those. And then if any of y'all that aren't on the AHA slides, just holler out what you think, and we'll capture that as well. The other day we had somebody say wine. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, the problem is we have a hard time getting them to vote for a COLA, and when we go through committee, everybody's for it, but when we get to the floor, they don't really ever get the amendment to the budget bill actually considered. They'll table it and not allow it to even come to a vote. So it's hard to get that. They have figured out how to get around that pretty well. So I think one of the efforts we'll do is we'll want to get with all legislators and let them know and meet with us, and we'll ferret out where they are on those issues and help educate them to the need as well. I understand the point. You're exactly right. It's a great point. Anything else? Let's see. We got relevance, update on legislators. Absolutely. Could have a legislator come talk, right? Fellowship, I like that, absolutely, gathering together. Speaker topics, we can definitely get a list of topics and have speakers come in as well. These things shift around on me. Make it at a convenient time. I think that's one of the things through the community advisory boards we can identify when is the best time. It won't be dictated by Raleigh about when we're coming. The community itself will determine and do that. Food, absolutely. Insurance is another thing of topics as well. Great. All right, we're going to move on a little bit to advocacy area, and this is a question that we want to know and get your feedback on. So legislators, they're your representatives. We want to figure out how many of you are currently comfortable sitting down with your legislator and talking to them about the needs of retirees. We're going to do a raise of hand. So if you going and talking currently, are you comfortable going and talk to legislators about those priorities we had, about funding the retirement system, about funding the health care system, about the need for cost of living adjustments? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, I think that's a good comment. I think one of the things is we need to reach out to them too, right? We need to build a relationship. You know, all of them aren't bad. They're all people. And it's a matter of us and the communities and you as a constituent to sit down and talk with them, and for us to sit around the table and figure out what our differences are, how we can better connect, and how we can educate them on the needs. And then, you know, if they still don't agree, then, you know, every 2 years there's an election, right? All right. So how many of you would be interested in getting more information about the priorities of the association related to the legislature, related to local engagement and those kinds of things, learning a little bit more about it, learning about the retirement system, how it functions and operates, so that you would feel more comfortable? And if we provided you more information, how many of you would then feel okay to talk with your legislator, sit down, and that kind of thing? All right. About 20 there, Karen. And then no. Just don't. It's not in your blood. You're not real interested. You're interested but don't want to engage. How many folks are like that? A few. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. We got about 4 or 5 there, Karen. Understand. So this kind of follows up on that somewhat question. So if it is, if you had more education, what are the specific things you might want to hear about and learn about in order to feel more comfortable talking with your legislator? More about them, themselves, their background. As I mentioned, more priorities about what our initiatives are, about what's important for retirees, or what things they consider, right? So just type in a little phrase or something there if you're on the ha-ha slides, and we'll take that information. Anybody from the audience have a specific thing that they're interested in learning more about in order to feel more comfortable talking with legislators? Yes, sir. Right. Right. Sure. Absolutely. We can provide you a 25-year history on the COLAs, the gaps as well. The voting history is a little harder, right? But I think we can assume that when you don't get one, then there's some problem, right? Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay.
What's that's meant to the cuts to public education, per pupil expenditures? That we continue lowering taxes to make North Carolina a state that's attractive to business.
Right.
But what has that done to some of our institutions?
That's a good question, and we could probably come up with some data on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're out of state. Yes. What I encourage you to do is at least we can, if we get these community groups, you can join the community group and then participate in those roundtables. The other things that I also do is when you're out of state, but you are impacted by what goes on, we try to get you and send you information on the leadership, the Speaker of the House, President Pro Tem, so that you can contact them as well. All right, COLA statistic history, we're working on that. We can get that to you. So this is great, great. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. And this is what topics would you like to be more informed on? Our COLAs, we've gotten some feedback, so obviously that. Retirement system management. One of the things I think is we don't, as a group, understand how the retirement system works and functions. And so I think one thing that we're going to be doing hopefully in the fall is providing that information and giving a little more detailed information on the function and how it works. Tax policy, that's something else that was brought up. I think your point about how the lowering taxes is impacting revenue and the ability to fund such things is a great question as well. Broadband access, again, is something that needs to be needed. Learning more about political candidates. Over the past, last cycle, statewide races, we had forums for our governor candidates, our lieutenant governor candidates, and treasurer candidates that I thought went well, and we can do more of that, right? All right? All right, in the audience, how many folks want to learn more and need more information on COLAs? Would raise our hands real quick. All right, well. About 27. All right. Retirement, management of retirement. How many of you want to learn more about how the system actually works? The system is built to provide a cost of living adjustment to retirees. It just hadn't gotten to the point where it can. And finding out those reasons of why, I think, is important for folks to know. How many of you would be interested in knowing why, right? The legislature is not required and is not mandated to provide COLAs. It's the system that's supposed to do them for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're about 20 there. Tax policies. We worked at trying to expand the Bailey Act this year, and that's something we did not get done either. The Bailey Act is where those that were vested prior to August 12, 1989 have no North Carolina income tax. So we want to expand it to all retirees, which would be a great value to those that aren't vested, right? Anybody interested in more tax policy information, how to manage it? 21. Broadband access. How many have good broadband? They got good connectivity. Yeah, everybody? That's good? Well, that's true, right? That's something about the concrete and I don't know if we're below ground or not. Does anybody see a gap in that there needs to be expansion? I think in general we do. Typically in this urban areas you don't have too much problem with connectivity. You still have some spots, all right? Political candidates, you want to learn more about the candidates. Now, these are the ones that are running for office, where they stand. We used to do surveys of the legislators and ask them if they support a COLA. They just end up not responding, so it's kind of hard to judge, right? So we get some that do, and then that if you don't respond, we can't really judge them. I guess we could, but 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Got 21 there. That's, like I mentioned before, it's hard to get a vote. They don't vote on the individual amendments like that. So if it isn't in the budget, if it's in the budget, they vote for it. Like in the House, everybody voted for a House that had a 2% bonus, and it ran through the House. So every member, not every member, there was people that voted against that budget that support a COLA. So the budget is a 20... Yeah, I mean, we can pull up the vote, but you can't discern whether they were supporting a COLA or not. There were people that voted for the budget that don't support a COLA. There are people that didn't vote for the budget that do support it and come out and talk about it. Yes, sir.
So who's responsible for putting the COLAs in the legislature?
It is typically the leadership in the House and the Senate, and they are the ones, we operate with the chairs of the appropriations in the Senate and the House. So the Speaker, the President Pro Tem, or this is where these issues go, and are finally decide. You're right, we do, and we do. We work with them. And I'll tell you, the Senate is not a supporter right now of cost of living adjustments. But those within the Senate, some of them do, right? He compares it to the private sector. Private sector retirements and benefits have gone away. And he actually brought up on the floor when he was speaking to this point that retirees, he had a mill shut down and their retirement was completely taken away. Retirees and local and state retirees have a good benefit, right? We need to maintain and to make sure it stays that way through cost of living adjustments. So he's saying they don't have nothing, so I don't feel comfortable providing an additional $500 million for state retirees to have a cost of living adjustment. The other issue is that they put in 20% of the budget, about $5 billion into retirees of North Carolina already. So that we have got to sit down and educate and work through these issues with them, and we have to learn from them about why they're like this so that we can have that good discussion and build that relationship. All right. All right, we're going to move on. So what areas do you engage in and learn about, you want to learn more about and related to your retirement? Is it finance? Is it health care? Is it lifestyle? What is it we can provide you to make your retirement more whole and better informed? Type it in. I think this is our last slide. Anybody in the audience have any thoughts on that? Financial advisor, that's a great one. Any other thoughts, feedback? Here we go. Magazines. All right. Apps, absolutely. Websites, I think that's something that we're working at diligently to make sure that we have places for you to go that you can get expert advice. Our newsletter is a great resource. Information on Medicare and Medicaid. Good. Good. All right. We definitely appreciate all the feedback that y'all given us. We will be back in touch soon. One thing I encourage you to do, if you want to get involved in the community in these areas and start building that community group, please give Daryl your email. She's got a little form for you and your phone number, and we'll be in touch soon. She's working hard to get a group together and have an initial meeting to talk about where we're going to head from here. All right? All right. Now, we're going to close this little session. Van Langston, the president of the association, wants to come up and close this out and talk a little bit to you about what you can do to help us implement the strategic plan. So, Van, come on up.
Thanks, Richard. Good morning. It's almost afternoon, isn't it?
just to summarize the strategic plan we've been talking about in just a sentence or so, our efforts are to improve the services that we have been bringing to you and add more services to you than we have ever done before. All focused on one thing: improving the quality of your life in retirement. One example of that I've been writing about in the newsletter lately are robocalls. Who likes robocalls? Okay. How many get at least 10 robocalls a day?
I got 20.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing what's happened. When I first retired, this was not even on the radar screen that our quality of life would be impacted by something like this. So we're constantly trying to change to keep up with the times. I want you to know what we're doing on that topic. Rather than just wringing our hands, we have been spending time with the Attorney General of North Carolina and his staff. He has a staff person working full-time on that, and there's a national group of attorneys general working on how to stop robocalls. We've also worked with a Congressman, Deborah Ross, who has already introduced a bill in Congress to increase the penalties for those who make robocalls. Part of the problem before is the laws really weren't helping us fight those people. So we're going to keep at it. You're going to find on our website in ensuing months a section focused on the latest scams. They dream up a new one every day, and you need to know what they are to sort of fend them off. I want to tell you that I got a letter from one of our members who had moved to Arizona. She retired and moved to Arizona. She wrote us a letter saying, "My husband died in February, and I had never taken care of our finances. And pretty soon I got a letter saying our car warranty had run out. And so I wrote a check for $950. Folks, we have to fight that. We can't just shake our heads. We have to fight as a group, and we're going to do it. When I first came in, I'll try to visit with members when we come in, and I visited with a table. I'm not going to point them out other than to say that's a table with 4 ladies who retired from DSS in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. And I told them that I had heard rumors that there was a wild table of women in here that we needed to watch out for. And they said, it's not us, it's that table over there. So I went to that table over there and told them that, and they said, guilty as charged. So we did chat a little bit about what's good and bad in retirement. What's good in retirement? We make our own schedule if we want one. Nobody makes the schedule for us. We have a chance to provide service for people that we didn't before. And one very poignant comment from a teacher, I get to do things with my grandchild that I could never do with my own child because I was working. There are wonderful benefits. And I asked what was bad, and the comment was money. And that's one of our primary missions. So let's talk a little bit. The strategic plan is about what our organization is going to do more of and better than before. I want to talk about what we can do. There are 65,000 of us. Number one, you've asked a bunch of questions about COLAs and the legislature and whatever. Your number one job, you and your friends put the right people on the bus. I don't care how many lobbyists you have. If the folks elected do not have your best interest at heart, or their primary mission is lowering taxes, you can kind of guess that an expenditure for you and other government services is going to be left in the lurch. So how do you find that out? Richard's pointed out, you've asked direct questions. How do we know who voted against it? They're smarter than that. It's hard to find out where people are on those issues. So what you have to do as a citizen and voter is spend the time up front really reading what the people say. And if their primary philosophy is cutting taxes no matter what, you can kind of figure there's not going to be much left in the coffer for the mission that we are talking about, or other missions, the 500,000 people who don't have Medicaid in North Carolina. That's you. We have lobbyists. Richard's done a wonderful job with 4 part-time lobbyists. There's so many different groups in the legislature, you've got to have somebody who can get their foot in the door. But if a person has spent their whole life running not to spend money or raise taxes ever, it's kind of hard to convince them, no matter how good our lobbyist is, that we need a COLA and they need to spend $500,000. So I ask you, start taking that job really seriously and work with your friends. Here's something else you can do to make this organization stronger. Send us your email address. Now that sounds simple, doesn't it? 65,000 members, we have about maybe 20,000 email addresses, that's all. So in an emergency, 40,000 of you are not going to hear from us. We can't wait to send out a newsletter 6 weeks later. If we want to organize, as Darrell is trying to do in each district, if there's 20,000 people in your district and we want to find out who wants to work in a local organization, we can't afford to send 20,000 letters to every member. We need to have email addresses. So do that. If you've got your phone, this is what you do. Do an email to info@ncrgea.com. And in the body, say, my name is, and give us your full name, because there's a lot of Joe Jones in 65,000. Okay, your name and your address, and then enter your email address. And our folks will add that to your file so that when we send out important and urgent items, we can get hold of it. We will not bombard you with junk. Yes, ma'am. Info, I-N-F-O, @ncrgea.com. And just tell us your name, your address, and your email address. That will help us help you. Join these local groups that we're trying to form in our 9 districts. Talk up the benefits of government. You know why people don't want to pay taxes for government? Because for 30 years they've heard that government's bad. Why would you spend money for something that's bad? So let's, you okay? Yeah. Let's spend some time in this state reminding people of the services they get from government. You know, in the middle of the night when that water line bursts in the street in front of your house and it's the middle of the winter, there's guys standing there fixing that pipe. Government did that. Margaret Mead was asked once, she's a woman who is an anthropologist, what's the earliest sign you've ever found of actual civilization among humans? She said, we found a skeleton 15,000 years old that had a broken femur that had healed. That was the first evidence of civilization. Other people caring for a person who could not care for themselves until they got well. Folks, every one of you in your job did that. Whether you're protecting our environment, whether you're taking care of our children, whether you work in medical, you are the example of civilization at work. Government is that. So we need to be proud of it. Lastly, our website will continue to grow with lots of topics that help you live a higher quality life. So please start checking that on a very regular basis. We want it to be fresh enough that you see a need and benefit to come in once a week maybe to find out the various topics you need. We are, by the way, a nonpartisan, issues-oriented organization. And as one of the legislators mentioned yesterday, you have to vote your best interest. Your best interest. That's hard to find out sometimes, but spend the time to do it. Because if you can't get the right people on the bus, it's kind of hard for us to talk to them. I'm proud to have been a public servant. I'm proud enough that I'm happy to tell kids it's a good thing to do. Back home, start that message in your community, and you'll see in our strategic plan a big campaign in this state to start all citizens thinking more about the benefits that they get from government rather than always just thinking about the cost. So I want to thank you for being here, and I'll tell you how proud our board is, the 23 of us on the board, of the staff we have working on your behalf in Raleigh. One thing that Richard is committed to, when you call our office, you are going to get a human being, not a recording, a human being who has answers to your questions. That's the kind of service we want to provide. Any questions or comments? Thank you. I'm proud to be a member with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Van. We have a special guest with us today. Treasurer Falwell is here. We're going to go ahead and have him, he is on a schedule, we're going to have him do his presentation and speak to y'all. And just want to do a little introduction of the treasurer. Treasurer Falwell was sworn in as state treasurer in January 2017, and is the keeper of the purse for the Treasury. He's responsible for about, as I mentioned earlier, about $124 billion just in the retirement system, and that's only part of it, I believe, Treasurer Falwell. That retirement system represents over 1 million state, local actives and retirees. Under Falwell's leadership, the pension plan was rated among the top 5 highest funded in the country and won accolades for the proactive management and funding discipline. In 2018, the state's coveted AAA bond rating was reaffirmed by every major rating agency in North Carolina, one of only 13 states in the country that holds that distinction. Treasurer Falwell also oversees our health plan. He'll give you a little background and update on the health plan as well. That health plan represents more than 720,000 active and retired employees of the state and is the largest purchaser of health care in North Carolina. Falwell was first elected as in office in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Board of Education. Came to the General Assembly in 2004. Served 4 terms, and one of those terms as Speaker Pro Tem in the House. Treasurer Falwell began his career as a blue-collar worker, became a certified public accountant and investment advisor after earning bachelor's and master's degree from UNC Greensboro. He's been married for 30 years to his wife Cynthia and has 3 kids and resides in Winston-Salem. Treasurer Falwell, welcome. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good morning. Thank you, Richard. It's quite an honor to be here and to kind of build on the President's remarks a moment ago. If you want to know why I act the way I do and talk the way I do, the reason is I only have one loyalty, and that loyalty is to those that teach, protect, or otherwise served our government and taxpayers like them at the state or the local level. And as keeper of your public purse, behind your health and your spiritual relationship and your family, the two most important things in most of your lives are the safety and security of your pension plan and your health plan. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about that. Now, during that period of time, I could get emotional. There are things happening in our life, in our world right now, that are worth getting emotional about. I'll not be getting political. There is no Democrat, Republican, Independent, or Libertarian money at the Treasurer's office. There is no black and white money at the Treasurer's office. There is no male-female money at the Treasurer's office. It's all green. And the blood that runs through me is Quaker. And if you know anything about the Quaker religion, one of the spices of the Quakers is to be fair and just. Every day we have an opportunity to go to work on your behalf and to be fair and just. What that means is that we don't pick and choose which laws to apply or who to apply them to, because we're the keepers of your public purse. There are a lot of things happening, and I appreciate you adjusting your schedule today to allow me to come in and just give you a few remarks. With all the angst and anxiety that we have faced over the last year and a half, I just want to come and tell you in person that worrying about the safety and security of your pension plan, whether you're in the Elgers or the Teasers, is not something you should worry about. This pension plan is one of the best funded pension plans in the United States. As a matter of fact, it's about 88% funded. If you go 15 miles from here to South Carolina, their pension plan is only 62% funded. If you go to Alabama, their retirement system is only 65% funded. If you were to drive to Kentucky, one of their general government retirement plans is only 20% funded. You are participating in one of the best funded pension plans in the United States. And I say that to you by standing on the shoulders of not only the hardworking people at the Treasurer's office, but actually previous state treasurers who have never gambled or pretended to have a crystal ball regarding your hard-earned pension money. So I'm going to start talking a little bit faster, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the pension, a little bit about the health care, and just a little bit about some of the fears that I am feeling as the state treasurer in North Carolina. Number one is, as far as the pension plan, you just heard me report it's one of the best funded in the United States, but it has some headwinds. Now, if numbers make you nauseous, I hate to do this to you before lunch, but you're about to get a lot of numbers. Now, you're not going to be able to see this in the back, but that blue line, that tall blue line, should make you nauseous, because that's where some of you, including myself, bought our first home when interest rates were at 10%. Now, I hear some amens. And 10% interest rates are bad for buying homes, but they're fantastic for a pension plan, because all the state treasurer has to do is to put the money in government bonds, and you're a fantastic state treasurer. Obviously, as you can see for this chart, and as you can see by looking at your own checking account, interest rates are at 0. So this is a blessing for the rest of the world when you're buying a business or buying a home or investing in your mind, but it's not good for pension plans, because we have $45 billion worth of things in your pension plan that earn interest. Now, Richard talked a moment ago about the size of the pension. It crossed $124 billion last week. And if you're a Methodist, you recall that every year the Methodists have a word that they focus on. And 5 years ago, that word was context. Let me put in context what $124 billion is. It is the 27th largest pool of public money in the world. and it is nearly 5 times bigger than the state budget that's currently being debated. Just your pension plan is nearly 5 times bigger than the state budget. And if you look at the pension plan in context of everything we do at your treasurer's office, it's only half of what we do. We manage nearly $250 billion, and that's nearly 10 times the size of the state budget. And if you wonder why I act the way I do and talk the way I do, it's because this is serious business, and it's all about the green. We are in the check delivery business, and that's what we do at the treasurer's office. So going back to the chart, the headwinds are the interest rates have plummeted. That's not good for pension plans. That's great for everybody else in society. The second thing is earlier retirements. As you may recall, the minimum retirement age was taken out of this pension plan decades ago. And the fact is, it was never anticipated that people would be retired as early as they're retiring. And the last blessing is in life expectancies. When I barely got out of high school in Forsyth County, Winston-Salem, in the late 70s, there were 300 people over the age of 90 who were drawing a retirement check. Last month, it was 7,000 people over the age of 90 drawing a retirement check. So when I tell you that this plan is very well funded, I want to make sure you understand that low interest rates is not good for a pension plan, great for society. People being able to retire earlier is good for them, but the pension plan never anticipated this. And people living as long as they have was not something that this plan ever anticipated either. As a matter of fact, if you're a female coming to work for the state or local government, let's say you come to work at the age of 21, for the first time in the history of our state, you are possibly going to retain more retirement checks than paychecks. You are going to get more retirement checks than paychecks. So when I say that the plan has headwinds, that's what I'm referring to. The other thing I want to talk about is Wall Street fees. When I was sworn in as Keeper of the Public Purse, the Wall Street fees that your pension plan was paying had gone from $50 million to $700 million per year in 16 years. Now, every dollar that's spent on Wall Street fees inefficiently is a dollar that can never be sent to you in a benefit. So we have successfully cut over $400 million in Wall Street fees out of your pension plan over the last 4 years, and I hope you like that. So. Now, I wish somebody would have told me this earlier. That's probably why I struggled so mightily to get out of high school. But I thought the 0 percentile was a good thing, but it's not really, except when you look at the efficiency of your pension plan. CEM benchmarking looks at all the pension plans your size around the world. This is the report, and it shows that your pension plan is in the 0 percentile, way over here where my finger is, as being the most efficiently run pension plan in the universe of plans that we're referring to. So I hope you like that. I'm going to talk a moment about health care. Health care is not something you want to consume, but what we have going on with health care right now in this state, especially over the last 4 years, is we have cartels. Now, I used to stutter, and I was advised when I was at Winston-Salem State and NCRGEA that as I was struggling to find just the right word, that maybe just go to the Bible or the Webster's Dictionary would set me on the right course. When I use the word cartel, if you go to the Webster's Dictionary, a cartel is defined as an association which is formed to restrict competition and or raise prices. That's exactly what's happening with healthcare in North Carolina. Some of you have seen this graph from the past. I sent a request to UNC Healthcare, which some of you are familiar with. Now, why did I send a request to UNC Healthcare? Because UNC Healthcare is the state hospital. I'm the state treasurer. We insure the employees at UNC Healthcare. It would just make sense that I would send them a simple letter that said, I know we spent $300 million with you last year. I'm trying to figure out what our employees were supposed to pay. I know what I sent you. I'm trying to figure out what we were supposed to pay. So if you haven't seen this in the past, I want to make sure you have a photographic memory. This is what was returned to me as the keeper of your public purse when I inquired about what we're spending $300 million on health care just at one hospital in North Carolina. Are you ready? Every single page was redacted. This is the master charge list. The fact is that no one in this room wants to consume health care because you'd rather not be sick. And then when you have the audacity to ask what the health care cost, you're looked at as if you have three eyes. And then when you don't pay for what they won't tell you what it cost for something you really didn't want to consume to start with, they destroy your credit rating. Now, I'm just going to get a little emotional about this because I was born poor in resource and rich in opportunity. My mom was a single mom with 3 kids and no child support and no alimony. My point is that it's far different today than it was when I was growing up. These credit scores determine what you pay for that cell phone that you're looking at. They determine what you pay for that basic liability insurance on that car you drove in here. And obviously, credit scores determine what you pay for credit if you're going to buy a house. People's credit scores in this state are being destroyed because of split billing, surprise billing, and out-of-network billing associated with medical expenses. And this is not a partisan issue. Bill Gates said 10 years ago the single biggest threat to public education, this is for all the educators in the room, Bill Gates said the single biggest threat to public education is how states account and fund for their unfunded pension and health care liabilities. Warren Buffett said 4 years ago that rising health care costs are the tapeworm on the U.S. economy. Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren, who ran for President of the United States, said that 72% of the bankruptcies in this country are associated with things dealing with health care. President Trump issued an executive order to make sure that health care was transparent so that hospitals would be made to produce the prices of what they charge people for. And then President Biden came in just 2 months ago and took what President Trump said and actually increased the penalties for entities that will not tell you what things cost. When President Trump and President Biden did these things, this is what the Hospital Association said. We don't think providing our patients with information about what things cost lead them to make a better decision. Now, tomorrow is Senior Citizen Day at Food Line. I'm old enough to know what that is. Thursday, Senior Citizen Day at Harris Teeter. You know why I know that? Because they give me the information that tells me that if I'm as old as I am, which I am, and I go to Harris Teeter or Food Line, then I can save 5% on my groceries. The fact that somebody would tell you that telling you what something costs does not lead you to make better decisions is unconscionable. That people actually, the arrogance of them saying this. And let me talk a moment about the lower and fixed income people of this state. The lower and fixed income people of the state, many who work for the state possibly or retired, are one medical bill away from being economically destroyed. Don't even talk about their credit rating. So if you want to know why I talk the way I do and why I act the way I do, is that I'm going to be, and we are going to be, on the right side of history on this issue. We are going to break the cartel. We are going to get rid of these secret contracts. These secret contracts are issued by multi-billion-dollar non-profits. The one here in Charlotte has $7 billion in the bank as a non-profit. Their executives make millions of dollars. Now, some of you may know my story of last March, in March of 20. I was one of the early contractors of COVID. I'm now told that I had an 18% chance of living in March of 20 when no one knew anything about this disease. My wife sometimes accuses me of talking as if I'm a doctor because my initials are D.R. Falwell. But I'm not a doctor. But I'm smart enough to know that when my blood ox level was 83, while I was being given 8 liters of oxygen in intensive care, that I was in bad shape. So when I talk about health care, I'm not talking about the people who came in hour after hour and prayed me through that. I'm not talking about the people who actually do the work of health care. I'm talking about these multi-million-dollar executives who run these multi-billion-dollar nonprofits and are squeezing especially the lower and fixed income individuals of North Carolina. The other reason I talk so passionately about this is that there's been a lot of Wall Street Journal articles that have come out recently. Now, this is one from the Wall Street Journal, not comparing a hospital to a hospital, not comparing one region or one state to another. This is one code in one hospital. A C-section at this hospital can cost between $6,000 and $60,000. And if you read into this article, what it will tell you is that based on what type of insurance card you present determines what you pay. Why do we allow that level of discrimination? Why should the kind of insurance card in your pocket determine what you pay for anything, whether it's at the convenience store or the hospital? The fact is, and I say this publicly, that for decades, the state employees in North Carolina especially have been cross-subsidizing other things that have been going on inside these healthcare organizations, because the healthcare card that's in your pocket is considered one of the Cadillac healthcare cards of North Carolina. Then there's been recently a major lawsuit in North Carolina filed against Mission Health and HCA. They have about 72% of the market share west of Hickory. That combination, which was approved, I was against it, that combination of HCA buying out Mission Health, it hasn't even had its second birthday yet, and the wheels are coming off the track. The quality has gone down, the access to health care has gone down, and the cost has gone up. This or no other organization should be in favor of anything like that. So what are we doing about this at the state health plan? Number one is that we just negotiated a fantastic contract for those of you over the age of 65 in our Medicare Advantage product. And let me tell you why that's important, and let me tell you why I'm personally asking you to sign up for Humana Medicare Advantage this year. The cost to the member for the basic plan is $0. The cost to the dependent of the member is $4 a month. And the cost to the state health plan is $0. I think that's a fantastic negotiation. That contract over 5 years is going to save the state health plan $1 billion. Why is that important? Because when I became the state treasurer in North Carolina, I inherited a $34 billion unfunded health care liability, because for 46 years, promises were made for state employees to be eligible for health care, but unlike the pension plan, no money was ever put aside for that purpose. All we're trying to do with our health care is take advantage of our largeness, push the power down to the consumer, and then ultimately lower family premiums. We have corrections officers, those that teach, those that protect, and those that otherwise serve, who are having to work 1 week out of every 4 this year to pay the family premium. That is absurd. We're the largest purchaser of health care in North Carolina. For people to have to make the choice between mortgage and health care, energy and health care, food and health care, living their life in health care is ridiculous. So each and every one of you, nearly 88% of the state retirees are already in the Humana Medicare Advantage program. We need for that to be 100%, because the cost to you is $0, the cost to us is $0. We're going to take the savings of that and we're going to start driving down family premiums, because it's people who are 35 years old, who are struggling, who have to work 1 week out of every four to pay their family premium, guess what they're doing? They're not getting family coverage, which means their families are uninsured. We need younger, healthier people on the plan to offset people like me. That's all this, that's as simple as I can be about it. So I really encourage you to consider the Humana Medicare Advantage product this year as we go forward. As I attempt to close, I'm not going to hold up all my props, but this is a poll that just came out that said that 89% of the people think that health care prices should be posted in public. This is something that Harlan Bowles, that the state of North Carolina put out the year I graduated from high school in 1977 about the fear of what would happen to health care costs in North Carolina. This came out in 1977, and it's exactly happening. So as keeper of your public purse, I just want to tell you that the pension plan's in great shape. We're trying to make sure that we are taking advantage of our largeness on the health plan, and the defined contribution plan, the 401, the 457, and the 403 are obviously doing exceptionally well also. I want to close by telling you that as a public servant, I'm dismayed about the discourse that's going on in our country right now. In the words of the old Jamie Johnson country music song, and I recommend that all of you listen to it, I've seen COVID in color. And it doesn't care what color you are, or what political party you are, or what gender you are. It's an equal opportunity killer. And I'm saying that to you because I'm just disgusted about the divisiveness in this country over masks and vaccines. And we've got to pull it together, because as long as this disease exists, it's going to create more death, more poverty, and more illiteracy. And there's nobody in this room who's in favor of any of those three things. So that's what we're trying to do at the Treasurer's Office, is we're trying to be the keepers of your public purse and to make sure all the decisions that we make in that regard reflect our loyalty and duty of care to those of you who have taught, those of you who have protected, and those of you who have otherwise served. You can find out more about all this at nctreasurer.com. And then lastly, this was very popular yesterday, by the way. Lastly, I want to mention that our smallest division at the Treasurer's Office, it's hard for me to even say that this is only $1 billion, but it's only $1 billion. Our smallest division is a division called nccash.com, and I'm going to hand all of you one of these cards. There's $941 million sitting at nccash.com. As a matter of fact, there's someone at each one of these two tables that has something at nccash.com. Now, this is not a gimmick, and I only say this at the end of my remarks because all of you will be checking your phones while I'm giving you all that other important information. nccash.com is simply, generally speaking, where somebody tried to mail you a check and you never got it, which means you never cashed it, which means it has to be sent to the treasurer. There's no charge to look up your name, your maiden name, parent's name, kid's name. We just gave $13,000 to the city of Charlotte, $2,500 to the Panthers. The Panthers gave it to a domestic abuse shelter. They had money at nccash.com. And 3 of the 5 reporters who reported on the story had money at nccash.com. So check your name, maiden name, kid's names, parent's name, church name, $1 million that belongs to churches, your nonprofit, your business name. And there's no charge to look up your name and no charge to get what's owed you. Now, it's hard to tell with all the masks out there, but I think everybody's in fairly good shape. But in the unlikely event that you're missing any of these 4 items, you may also find them at nccash.com. Baby teeth, silver teeth, gold teeth, and false teeth. Now that you're all smiling, I can see you're all in good shape. The reason I say that is that all the abandoned lock boxes in North Carolina, when they cannot find the rightful owner, those contents have to be sent to the Treasurer's Office. And you can imagine what people my age and above used to put in lock boxes. Silver teeth, baby teeth, gold teeth, false teeth, maybe even some impressions for partials. I'm looking for a partial, but I'm not finding it at NC Cash. But anyway, to be far more reverent, we were just able to give that way, returns from World War II medals to a family, been looking for them for 15 years. A Purple Heart, recently a watch that had Woodrow Wilson's name inscribed inside it that belonged to a family. So I'm going to pass out these cards without interrupting the next speaker. But I just want to tell you, as the state treasurer and the keeper of the public purse, thank you for all that you've done to teach, protect, and otherwise serve our communities. And God bless you.
Treasurer Falwell, thank you so much for those thoughts and comments. We certainly appreciate you being here today and taking time out for our group as well. Let's just give him one more round of applause. Thank you, Treasurer. Next up, we're going to have Mark from the Total Retirement. He's going to give you a little update on the Supplemental Retirement Plan that's run with the state. So, Mark, come on up.
Which is also in the 0% time.
There you go.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Richard, and thank you very much, Treasurer. My pleasure to be here today. Most of you have come by my table at some point today. I've got a chance to talk with you a little bit and chat with those of you who came down and people that had plans with us currently and still have your account with us, and maybe some people that have some other types of accounts that maybe they have in retirement. I am a resource for you to help you with all things related to that. I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's my pleasure to be here. Just like what Treasurer Falwell talked about with the health of the pension plan, the oversight on the supplemental plans, your North Carolina 401k, 457, and 403b plan, is just as strict. It's recognized as being one of the best supplemental plans, not only in the country, but in the world. And the way that we're able to keep our fees so significantly lower because of that oversight and because of the work of our Treasurer's office is incredible. As a matter of fact, in 2 of the last 3 years, Treasurer Falwell has declared a fee holiday, which waived those administration fees completely, saving our participants over $2 million each year, every year that's happened. So for those of you still with counts, for those of you with sons, daughters, nieces, nephews who participate in the plan, they were all able to take advantage of that, and it's just such a great story to tell there. For those of you who have recently retired, a lot of people will be approaching you, if they haven't already, about moving your money out of the plan. They'll invite you to dinner seminars. They'll have great marketing campaigns to say, congratulations on your retirement from the state of North Carolina. Now you need to make a decision about your 401k or your 457 plan. That is not the case. The level of service you receive as a retiree is exactly the same as our active employees. Access to your online accounts, access to the mobile app and some of the other new tools that maybe you don't even know about yet, and I'll talk to you about that if you come by my table. Nothing changes there. And again, because of those low fees, it might be a great time for you to consider any other retirement accounts that you might have. Maybe you have qualified money in an IRA with the bank or possibly with an investment firm. Maybe a 401k from a past employer that's just been sitting there all those years. You can roll that money into this plan, and that money's treated just like the money you've contributed while you're actively working. So there's a lot of great stories to tell about a supplemental plan. And again, I'd be happy to go over, if you have an account, I could do an account review. I've got my computer set up, etc. But the fact that many of us have loved ones that are going to work in state employment. My son is a local government employee, got out of college 2 years ago at NC State University, went to work for the local government, got a great job, and the first thing that I told him to do was to sit down and we're going to talk about your supplemental savings account. He said, what the heck is that? He's 22 years old, right? He has me cracking that whip for him. Most people do not have that. So I'm going to encourage you to talk to those people that you know that are going to work in state government. They will probably come and talk with you about their new career that they're excited about. And one of the stories that you might want to share with them is what you might have done different, or what many of us could look back on our careers and say, hey, you know, if I could do one thing over again, maybe I would have put another couple of bucks per month into that plan. Or maybe I would have opened it earlier. I would have learned about it and kept up with it, increased it as I got raises, all those little things. Again, most people don't have folks telling them that. We talk about the struggles with the COLA and all the other challenges that we have in retirement. I'm nearing it myself, and I'm doing my math, and it's scary, right? So we got to just make sure that we give those younger folks an opportunity to take advantage of that. So the biggest conversation that I usually have at these events, though, is with required minimum distributions. A lot of you that might be up against that right now, or maybe you're currently having to make withdrawals from your account, whether you want to or not, because of the law there. I could talk with you about that as well. It previously was 70 and a half. Last year with the Secure Act, they raised that to age 72. So the year that you turn age 72, by April 15th of that following year, you have to make a distribution from one of your from your qualified retirement account. And what that means is that you just got to take the percentage out that they say to take out. It's about 3.65% the first year. Pay the tax on it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. But it can be very confusing. I'm here as a resource for that as well. So it's my pleasure to be here. We work very closely with the association, and Richard and his staff, they do such a great job. Encourage your friends that are not members to get involved because they just do such great work in representing our all of us. So as the husband of a Wake County teacher, son of a local government employee, I greatly appreciate all that you do every single day, and enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Mark, thank you so much. All right, so now we are at a time where we're going to split our group up. Local government retirees, how many of those do we have? All right, y'all are going to get to take a brief walk, all right? We've got a breakout room, and there you'll be hearing from Jeannie with the SHIP program, and also Humana about Medicare, as well as a supplemental plan, Advantage plan that Humana can offer for individuals. In here, we're going to have an overview of the state health plan by Roberta Hamby and Humana rep Michelle, and we're going to take just a real brief break. Now, how to get to that room, all right? Y'all, I've been doing this. We've had about 5 of these or 6 of these events, and I lie not. I've told people the wrong direction to go about 3 times. But today, I've actually mapped it out, okay, and I'm going to tell you, all right? So we go out this door or get to this door here. You'll go out in front of where you came in and registered. You take a left, you go all the way to the wall that's in front of you. You take a right, you go around the escalator, and right across the hall through a little corridor is the meeting room, okay? We'll have chairs in there, and then we can address your local government issues there. All right, so if we can. So we're going to be serving, and I guess when we're out, your salads and cake. We'll be having lunch after this breakout session, and then we'll be doing that as soon as y'all get back in here. All right? Thank you.
That's all we need.
For me to get out of here. They're probably going to finish addressing the tables with their salad and stuff while you're going through, so hopefully they won't be too loud.
It was pretty loud.
Treasurer going to talk in the keynote. Hopefully they got most of it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think they got most of the stuff. They got the dressings out.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
I think it should be should be completely charged. Go ahead and
Here, let me try.
Oh, gosh. I was fine until I sat down on the seat.
I know.
The seat's cold.
It's not. No.
Is the little clicker not working?
Huh?
Is the little clicker not working?
Yeah, nah. I think he's getting a different one.
Maybe there's an obstruction.
Yep. Thank you. You're good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, it looks like the treasure left.
Have it here. I figured he'd stay. Stuff.
Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, so I'm ready. I'm starting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Roberta Hamby with the North Carolina State Health Plan, and we'd like to thank everyone for having us to the conference today to speak to you about the State Health Plan and our options for 2022. Now, the State Health Plan's open enrollment is right around the corner. It starts October the 11th and runs through October the 29th. Now, during that time period, it's going to be your opportunity to make changes if you want to, but we'll talk more about that during the presentation today. So we're going to look at the different options for 2022 and go over some reminders concerning the Medicare Advantage plan options offered under the State Health Plan's umbrella. Michelle Tallman with Humana is going to take a deeper dive into the Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan options available for 2022, while I'll talk about the 70/30 plan that is administered by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Then we'll also look at the premium rates for next year and how to make changes if you decide you want to make a change for 2022. Now, for next year, for Medicare primary options, they're going to remain the same as they are today. The two Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan options, the Humana Group Medicare Advantage PPO base plan, and the Humana Group Medicare Advantage PPO enhanced plan, and then the 70/30 PPO plan administered by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Now, for 2022 benefit year, you will remain in the plan that you currently are enrolled in. It will automatically roll over for 2022. So unless you want to make a change or you have dependents who are in, let's say, the 80/20 plan and you want to re-elect that for next year,
you would not have to take action if you are on one of the Humana plans or the 70/30 plan. Now, with the Humana group plans, the base and the enhanced plan, there's no major changes to the benefits within either of these plans for next year. The co-pays, the co-insurance, the maximum out-of-pocket limits for both medical and pharmacy are going to remain the same. There's no changes. Now, there are changes, though, to the Humana formulary, or the list of drugs that will be covered under these plans for 2022. And this is not unusual. It's something that occurs every year with insurance plans. The formularies are evaluated and changes are made. So you will want to verify your medications will continue to be covered next year and what copay level it will be covered on. Now, on the 70/30 plan or the 80/20 plan, if you're not yet Medicare eligible, again, there's no changes to the benefits under these plan options. The co-pays and co-insurance are going to remain the same as they are today. Now, again, there's changes with the formulary. But with these plan options, the formulary does change on a quarterly basis. So if you've been on the 70/30 plan, you are or should be aware that that formulary does change throughout the year. We will continue to offer reduced co-pays for those of you who are seeing a clear pricing project primary care provider or a clear pricing project specialist. So the co-pays will remain reduced for 2022. Now, in regards to the reminders about the group Medicare Advantage plans, currently we have over 80% of our Medicare members enrolled in either the Humana Group Base Plan or the Humana Group Enhanced Plan. We would like to encourage anyone who is not currently enrolled in those plans to review them this year during the open enrollment period. The decision guides will contain quite a bit of information about those options, but they have recently been evaluated, and a benefit value equivalent to a 90/10 plan has been assessed to these plans. Now, this means that overall, your out-of-pocket cost should not be any greater than what it would be if the plans were a 90/10 plan option. Now, these plans are co-payment driven, so even though they've been evaluated as being benefit equivalent to a 90/10 plan, you will continue to have co-payments under most of the services provided through these plan options. Now, with the Humana Group Medicare Advantage Base Plan or the Enhanced Plan, now these plans are very flexible due to the fact that they are group plans. The advertisements that you see on TV or that you may receive in the mail, because Medicare's open enrollment is also going to be forthcoming soon. So there's a lot of advertisements going on TV and in mail, magazines, and so forth. Those are individual products, individual group or individual Medicare Advantage plans, and the group plan options offered under the state health plans umbrella are generally better than what those under the individual plan options will be. There's more flexibility under the group plan options. Things to keep in mind when you're looking at those individual plans and calling those numbers from TV. Look at how the plans are structured, whether they're an HMO, a health maintenance organization, or a PPO. The networks are very important in these type of plans. Also, with the Humana plans offered under the state health plans umbrella, we're going to be able to continue to offer the Humana base plan to Medicare-eligible qualified members based on your years of service, a zero premium cost for that plan. Also, for the Medicare-eligible dependents, the plan premium of $4 a month will continue to be offered for that base plan with Humana. Now, with the Medicare Advantage plans under the umbrella for the state, you do have to be enrolled in Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B in order to be enrolled in one of the Humana plan options. Remember, Humana has contracted with the federal government to provide you or to manage those benefits on behalf of the federal government. So you continue to be in the Medicare program when you're enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, but you no longer have what's considered original Medicare because Humana has taken on that financial responsibility from the federal government. Now, Humana will provide you with those benefits, so that means you still have to continue to pay that Part B premium every month out of your Social Security benefits or on that quarterly billing statement you will receive from the federal government. Once you are enrolled in any Medicare Advantage plan, but in particular with the state health plans options with Humana, you do have the simplicity and predictability of these plans. And what we mean by this is the fact that you would only use the one ID card. You would use the Humana ID card for your medical services and for prescription services. Your red, white, and blue card, you would tuck that away, keep it safe and sound. And as I mentioned earlier, these are co-payment driven plans. So for most all medical services that you receive, you're going to have an established co-payment associated with that service. So when you walk through that doctor's office, you'll have a good idea as to what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be. There's no longer a guessing game. Now, these plans, as I've stated, are group Medicare Advantage plan options. Very flexible. We have retirees in almost every state. So we did have to have that flexibility with a network. So with these plans, they have an open network or what's called a passive network. And you can go in or out of network and continue to pay the same cost. If you do go out of network, though, it's very important to make sure that that provider participates with Medicare and will accept your insurance. And it's always great if they will bill Humana directly as well. Now, with the Medicare Advantage plan options and other insurance, typically when you have a Medicare Advantage plan in place, you do not have a need for other insurance. But we are fully aware many of our members do have other insurance. Some may have TRICARE for Life, which is military insurance for retired military individuals once they become Medicare eligible. Or you may have retiree coverage from another state. Or perhaps you have retiree coverage from a private sector former employer. Or under your spouse's retiree health plan. It's very important to keep in mind that not all plans work together. It's very, very important to review all open enrollment materials. You cannot be enrolled in multiple Medicare health plans at the same time. This is extremely important because if you're enrolled with the Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan under the state health plans umbrella, and you enroll in another Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare prescription drug plan, make one of those calls to the telephone number from the TV, it's going to kick you out of the state health plan's Humana plan. Now, it does not remove you from being a state health plan member. You will be placed on the 70/30 plan automatically. So very, very important to keep in mind you cannot be enrolled in multiple Medicare health plans at the same time. Now, at this point, I'm going to turn the program over to Michelle, and she'll speak to you about the Humana plan options.
All right, good. Wait, what are we? Good afternoon. Just on noon now. So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Michelle Tallman with Humana. Very happy to be here with you in person. It's nice to see folks in person today. And I'm here to talk to you about the state health plans, Humana Medicare Advantage plans. And we actually have a table out in the hallway, as I'm sure most of you know. And we have 2022 benefit information out there that you can take with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here shortly. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we know that the association conducted a survey of state health plan retirees and found that of the just under 2,000 people who responded, 89% were either satisfied or very satisfied with the Humana plan. So we were really pleased to hear that. And so let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about Humana. And so we've been around for a long time. We've been working with Medicare plans for a long time. We have over 8.5 million Medicare members that we work with today. And we also have a vast nationwide network. This is a national PPO plan. And so you have access nationwide to 810,000 providers, 3,400 hospitals. And then here in North Carolina, we have a very strong network as well, with 7,000 primary care physicians or PCPs, 11,000 specialists, and 99 hospitals. And the other thing I wanted to highlight here on this slide is our star rating for our Medicare Advantage PPO plans. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, has rated Humana's Medicare Advantage PPO plans a 4-star. CMS Medicare rates Medicare Advantage plans across several different categories, and they rate them anywhere from 1 to 5 stars, and our plans have achieved a 4-star rating, so we're really proud of that. So let's talk a little bit about your plan with the state health plan. And the image up here on the slide is the state health plan Humana ID card. A few items to point out here about the plan. As Roberta mentioned, it's important for you to note that this is a custom plan that gives you the option to see both in-network and out-of-network providers and still have that same level of benefits, as long as the out-of-network provider participates in Medicare and agrees to bill Humana. Also, on this plan, you have coverage, 100% coverage for preventive care services. So those are things like an annual flu shot or annual mammogram as examples. Also, these plans offer out-of-pocket maximums on both the medical plan and the prescription drug plan. So there's a maximum that you would pay out of your pocket for services during the plan year. And then also there is worldwide emergency coverage included in this plan, and that's for when you might be traveling outside the country. If something happens and you need to go to the emergency room, you would want to go get those services. You likely would have to pay up front for those services, but you could bring the billing statements back with you and submit those for reimbursement according to the plan benefits. And wanted to stress a little bit more about the providers. Again, this is a custom plan that gives you the option to see both in or out-of-network providers, as long as the out-of-network providers participate in Medicare and agree to bill Humana. There's an image up here on this slide that is a flyer that we actually have available at our table that explains how this plan works and is something we encourage members to share with their provider. And actually in the 2022 booklet that we have at our table, there's a copy of this flyer in there as well. It is important to note that if the provider is still resistant to billing Humana, you would just pay up front for the services and submit for reimbursement, less any copay or coinsurance. So the next couple slides, I'm going to highlight some extra benefits that are covered on the plan that we think is important for you to know about. First here we have routine vision services. So the Humana plan does include coverage for one routine eye exam per year, and that includes refraction. On the base plan, it's a $40 copayment. On the enhanced plan, it's a $35 copayment. There's also coverage for routine podiatry services or foot care. On the base plan, it's a $40 copayment. On the enhanced plan, it's a $35 copayment. And there is a maximum of 6 visits per year for that benefit. Routine hearing services, you are able to get a routine hearing exam covered 100%, one per year. That includes fitting and evaluation at no charge for hearing aids once per year. And there's also a benefit allowance on this plan, a $500 benefit allowance that you can use for hearing aids, up to 2 every 3 years. Also, there's routine chiropractic services covered with a $20 copayment. There's private duty nursing benefits, and that is you pay 20% of the cost with a $5,000 maximum benefit. And COVID-19 services, wanted to touch on this. It's important to note that testing is covered 100%, and that includes antibody testing. Treatment for COVID-19 is covered 100%. On this plan as well. And then also, of course, the vaccine is covered 100%. A few other extra benefits to talk about. Post-discharge transportation. So this is a benefit that would be available to you after you have an inpatient hospital stay or skilled nursing facility stay, where you would get access to plan-approved transportation, or rather, transportation to plan-approved locations covered 100%, up to 12 one-way trips per instance or incident of the inpatient or skilled nursing facility stay. And then there's also post-discharge in-home personal care, and that's also after an inpatient hospital stay or skilled nursing facility stay, and that would give you access to in-home personal support care covered 100%. And examples of that kind of care would be activities of daily living, as they're called, eating, drinking, and dressing, just assistance with that. Also, acupuncture is covered under the plan. On the base plan, it's covered with a $40 copay. On the enhanced plan, it's a $25 copay, and there is a maximum of 20 visits for that benefit in the plan year. So I wanted to take a minute or two to just highlight a few plan reminders on the medical plan. First up here is durable medical equipment, or DME. Examples of DME would be things like oxygen walkers, continuous glucose monitors, and we work with preferred providers who supply these items, and those providers are listed up here: CCS Medical, Edwards Healthcare, and Edge Park. And some DME items do require prior authorization, not all, but some do. And these DME providers work with Humana to put those authorizations in place for those that might require it. And the time frame for those authorizations could be anywhere from 72 hours up to 14 days if more information is needed. Next up is physical, occupational, and speech therapy. We work with Cohere to help streamline that process, and physicians work directly with Cohere to put those authorizations in place. Over 95% of authorizations are automatically approved through the process that's in place between physicians and Cohere. There could be, it could take longer if more information is needed, so up to 72 hours for requests that are marked as urgent, or up to 14 days if more information takes a little longer. Also, MRI advanced imaging, we work with Health Help on that, and that is what the physicians work with Health Help, again, to put authorization for these services in place. Time frame is very similar. Up to 72 hours for urgent requests, and up to 14 days if more information is needed. Finally, the claim form submission. We do get some requests for where do you find a claim form? How do I get a claim form if you would need one? There are two places you can get this. One is out on a website that we created just for state health plan members. That website's listed on the screen here. It's our.humana.com/NCSHP. And you can download that form, follow the instructions, and if you had to submit for reimbursement, you could include the billing statement. And you can also call the dedicated state health plan customer care line that we have set up, and that number is listed up here as well. It's 1-888-700-2263. And somebody, when you speak with a representative and request that claim form to be sent to you, and they can also talk you through that claim form submission process. So we've talked about the medical side. Let's talk a little bit about prescription drugs, because this plan does include coverage for prescription drugs. You do have access to over 66,000 national and regional chain pharmacies. So when I say that, I'm talking about places like Walgreens, Walmart, Target, etc., as well as many, many independent pharmacies as well. You also have access to mail order services if you would want to have 90 days of your medication sent to you in the mail. You have the ability to do that. And also specialty medications can be provided through Humana Specialty Pharmacy. Now, this plan covers all medications that Medicare covers, generic brand specialty drugs. And this plan also covers Part D vaccines 100%. Part D vaccines would be something like Shingrix for shingles. That's covered 100% under the plan. It does not cover foreign travel vaccines, so that's the main exclusion there. Diabetic supplies and administration supplies are covered 100%. And this plan also includes coverage for certain medications that fall in the cough and cold category, weight loss, fertility, and vitamins and minerals. Also, transition fill process. This is something for new members. If you're newly enrolled, when you newly enroll in the plan and you're taking a medication that might require prior authorization, you're able to get a 30-day supply of that medication within the first 90 days of your enrollment. And then you'll get a letter that'll include the information that you'd need to share with your doctor, just to make sure your doctor can put the right authorization in place with Humana. And the drug list change letters, this is something that we send members at the end of the year to let them know if there's been a change to their medication for the next plan year. So for 2022, we will be sending these drug list change letters to members who might be taking a medication that maybe is changing tiers in 2022, or if there is a new authorization request for their medication. And so those letters, again, would be sent in December to those members who would be impacted by any changes to the formulary or drug list for 2022. And I will say that in the booklet that we have at our table, we have an abbreviated version of our drug list included in there, so you can come pick that up if you haven't already and be able to look at your medications. Diabetic testing and monitoring supplies. So Humana covers these preferred brand names of meters that are listed up here on the left-hand side of the screen. We have HP TrueMetrics Air by Travidia. We have AccuCheck Guide Me, and a Roche AccuCheck Guide. So using these preferred brands, you can get your meters and other supplies such as test strips and lancets covered 100%. And Humana's preferred insulin is Novolog and Novolin, and they are found on Tier 2. Humalog, Humulin, and Apidra are available at a higher tier. Also, it's important to note that this plan covers 100% Medicare-covered therapeutic continuous glucose monitors and supplies. These examples of those would be Dexcom G6 or Abbott Freestyle Libre. And our preferred DME provider for those, CGMs as they're called, is CCS Medical and Edwards Healthcare. So like the medical side, just wanted to touch on a few reminders on the pharmacy side. The chart that you see up here includes the 4 tiers of copays. On the left side is the base plan. On the right side is the enhanced plan. There are no changes to these copays for 2022. But I did want to remind you there is a $2,500 maximum out of pocket on the prescription drug plan, which is protection for you, which means once you pay $2,500 out of your pocket in the course of a plan year for prescriptions, then your coverage, you won't have to pay anything more for medications the rest of the year. Prior authorization, certain medications require prior authorization, and this is something that your provider works with Humana to put in place for those medications. Step therapy, this is something else that perhaps if you're taking a medication for a certain condition, you might need to take one medication before you can take another for that same condition. Insulin coverage, I already mentioned. Novolog and Novolin are preferred on tier 2. And Medicare exclusions. So you may have heard me mention earlier that this plan covers all medications that Medicare covers, but there are some medications that Medicare does not cover. And that would mean this plan would not cover those medications either. An example would be off-label use. So Medicare covers drugs that are FDA approved for certain uses or certain conditions, and sometimes providers might prescribe a medication for a condition that was not FDA approved for that condition, and that's considered off-label usage. And so if it's an off-label medication, that's not something that Medicare would cover, and it's not something that this plan would cover. So just wanted to give that as an example for that. The in-home health and well-being assessment, this is something we offer all our members. You are under no obligation to participate. It's purely optional, and you will not be negatively impacted if you choose not to participate. But it is something that we offer all members, and we want to make sure you're aware is available. This is an opportunity to have a clinician come to your home, perform an in-home assessment. It takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. They'll conduct a brief health history, take your blood pressure, survey your home surroundings, and once the visit has been completed, you'll receive a reward in the mail. And we will be sending more information about this program after January 1st, 2022. Silver sneakers. How many folks in here are familiar with silver sneakers? I see some raised hands. All right, yes, it is our most popular program. Gives you a free gym membership that you can use here in the greater Charlotte area or wherever your travels may take you around the country. They have thousands of participating locations nationwide. Some Silver Sneakers locations are open. Some may not be. Some might offer limited services right now. But they also have a wealth of opportunities on their website, silversneakers.com. You can access live classes out there, on-demand classes out there. So you might want to check it out if you haven't already. They also offer Silver Sneakers Go. It's their app that you can download and have access to a wide variety of Silver Sneakers information that way as well. And we have a flyer out on our table about Silver Sneakers. Go 365, this is our wellness rewards program, and we're going to reward you for doing healthy things like getting that annual flu shot or taking a Silver Sneakers class as examples. We have information on our table about this program as well. I would encourage you to take advantage of it because as you accumulate rewards, you can then use those at the Go 365 Mall to choose gift cards for popular retailers. So if you're not familiar with it, come out and ask us about it and pick up a flyer. Humana Welldine, this is a service that we offer members free of charge after an inpatient hospital stay or skilled nursing facility stay. We will arrange to have meals delivered to your home free of charge, up to 28 meals. And there's a variety of meal plans to choose from, and this is something that we would coordinate with you after discharge. So what else does the Humana plan offer you? We offer a variety of discounts through or for hearing aids, for vision services and dental services. Also, Lifeline Medical Alert System discounts, meal delivery discounts through Mom's Meals, also an online advanced care planning tool, My Directives. And we will be sending more information out about these extra programs after January 1st, 2022. We usually send a booklet to members that'll include more details for you. My Humana, this is our online website that you can register for and access to review your claims and also get access to a wide variety of health and wellness information. We created a custom state health plan website, and the URL is up there. The website's up there. It's our.humana.com/NCSHP. And out here we have posted your benefit materials and a wide variety of other information on the extra programs and services that are included in the plan. We also, from time to time, will post different events that we have coming up out there as well. Humana in your neighborhood. We have some physical Humana locations called neighborhood centers. We have 4 right now in in North Carolina, 1 in Asheville, 1 in Greensboro, 1 in Charlotte. This is down in the Matthews area, Independence Boulevard, the Windsor Square. And it just opened. And we also have another location in Raleigh that just opened, and we will be opening a 5th location in Winston-Salem in the first part of 2022. And these locations offer our members the opportunity to come in, participate in a Silver Sneakers class, participate in health and well-being classes, health education classes. Now, because of what's happening with the Delta variant, our services are a little limited. We're offering one-on-one appointments at this point with limited activities, but I did want to invite you all. We do have, actually, it's very timely. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we have our grand opening, our virtual grand opening of the Charlotte location. And it runs 10 to 11:30, and we would encourage you. We have flyers out on our table. If you'd like to come and get that information, you can register and participate and learn all about the services that would be available to you as a Humana member at that location. But certainly we also have a virtual option. We have a website here, humananeighborhoodcenter.com. And every month there's a calendar of activities out there that you can participate in. Again, cooking classes, virtual cooking classes, health and well-being classes. So I'd encourage you to check it out. And we actually have calendars at our table as well. Bringing Humana to You events. These are educational events that we held earlier this spring. And we're going to hold them again in 2022, and perhaps in 2022 we might actually be able to do some of these in person. They were all webinars this past spring, but again, we do hope to do some in person, and we'll be sending invitations out for those events in the first part of 2022, as all state health plan members are invited to participate in these events. So what to expect after enrollment. Everyone will receive an enrollment confirmation letter, and that will be received in December prior to January 1st. Regarding member ID cards, so anybody who is new to the Humana plan as of January 1st will receive an ID card. That'll be sent in December prior to January 1st. But if you are a current Humana plan member, you will continue to use the same ID card that you have today. We will not be sending new ID cards to current Humana members. You'll also receive a Medicare health survey that you'll receive, and this is something that we're required to send. The Medicare requires us to send. You are not required to participate. It's purely optional, but we have to send it. And then evidence of coverage, or EOC. This is a very thick book, a benefit booklet. New members will receive this in the mail at their home. Existing members, you will be receiving your annual notice of change, or ANOC, and that'll include guidance on how you can access the EOC. So I mentioned before, we do have a dedicated customer care team just for our state health plan members, and that number is up here on the screen. It's 1-888-700-2263. That's a great place for more information. If you have questions later, you can always call there. It's also the same number that's on the back of your Humana ID card today. Also, our website, our.humana.com/NCSHP, is another place for good information. And of course, today, if you have time and you have more questions, please come see us. We'll be here until the end of the event. So I'm going to hand it over now to Roberta to continue on, and thank you all for your attention today.
Okay, if you'll see myself or Jane out at our table, we can talk to you about it. Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll take questions out at our table afterwards. Either you can see Michelle and her team or myself and Jane. We're just trying to get this taken care of, speed it up a little bit so you can all enjoy your lunch. So relative to the 70/30 plan, the Clear Pricing Project, and this only applies to the 70/30 plan, or if you're non-Medicare, the 80/20 plan. So the Clear Pricing Project, or CPP, it continues to be a pathway for ensuring that our members will have this benefit of health coverage for years to come, while also bringing transparency to healthcare costs and addressing the rising cost of healthcare. So we currently have more than 28,000 CPP providers contracted with the state health plan. And the state health plan, as I mentioned earlier, is going to continue to offer the reduced co-pays for seeing a CPP primary care provider or a CPP contracted specialist. Now, these only apply to 70/30 or the 80/20 plan, not to Humana Group Medicare Advantage members. And it only applies to providers in the state of North Carolina. So it does not apply to those outside of North Carolina. Now, with the 70/30 plan option, if you elect to go with this in lieu of the Humana plan options, Medicare or original Medicare remains the primary coverage. And the 70/30 acts as a secondary plan. It is not a supplement. So this means that you will still be required to meet the co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles that are required under the 70/30 plan. Now, there is a combined medical and pharmacy deductible of $1,500 for in-network individual, and that has to be met for some medical services and medications. Now, there's also, once that $1,500 deductible is met, then the member is going to be responsible for 30% remaining in the network covered charges. But remember, Medicare is the primary coverage. Now, there is a $5,900 maximum out-of-pocket limit for an individual also, and this is a combined medical and pharmacy maximum out-of-pocket limit. Once that maximum out-of-pocket limit is met, then the plan would pay 100% of covered medical and pharmacy after that point for the remainder of the plan year. Now, all members that are on the 70/30 or 80/20 plan are going to receive a new ID card for 2022. It will be very important to start using this new ID card as of January 1st, 2022. And we'll take a look in another slide or two on that. Now this, as I mentioned, there's a combined deductible and maximum out-of-pocket limit. This slide simply shows you what is applied to the deductible and what's applied to the maximum out-of-pocket limit. As you can see, all of the medical co-pays, the deductible, and pharmacy co-pays are applied to the maximum out-of-pocket limit. Here's a copy of what the new ID card is going to look like. The ID cards will be issued during the month of December. Be very aware of this and keep an eye out for these new ID cards to come in your mail. Start using it January 1st. It is being issued due to the fact that Blue Cross and Blue Shield is moving over to a new claim system. So these cards were going to have a new subscriber ID number on them, a new group number, and also some additional benefit information, such as the deductible and the out-of-pocket maximum. So relative to open enrollment, as I mentioned earlier, it begins October 11th and runs through October the 29th. It is your opportunity to review the plan options and decide if you want to make a change for next year. You can flip between the plan options. You can add, remove dependents. You can also opt in or opt out of the state health plan. If you decide to opt out of the state health plan, though, please make sure that you enroll in our electronic newsletter, Member Focus, to ensure that you keep up to date with what's going on in the state health plan in case you want to opt in during a future open enrollment period. Once you've opted out of the state health plan, you would not receive any mailings from the state health plan. As I mentioned, also that you will roll over. Whatever plan you're currently on in 2021 is going to roll over for 2022. So the 70/30, you'll be on the 70/30 in 2022. If you want to make a change, during the open enrollment period is when you would do that, and it would become effective January 1st. Now, if you are not yet Medicare eligible and you're on the 80/20 plan, or you are covering dependents who are on the 80/20 plan, you will default to the 70/30 plan for open enrollment. It is going to be very important that you re-elect the 80/20 plan if you want it for 2022. And remember, there's that tobacco attestation for those of you who are the subscriber and on the 80/20 plan. If you want to receive that premium credit, then you would be able to complete that during the open enrollment as well. Premium rates for 2022 are not changing for Medicare primary members. For the subscriber on the base plan with Humana, it's going to remain $0 if you're Medicare eligible and qualified based on your years of service. For a spouse who's Medicare eligible, it will continue to be $4 a month under the base plan. Under the enhanced plan, for a Medicare eligible qualified retiree, it's going to continue to be $73 a month, as well as $73 a month for the Medicare eligible spouse. So that would be a total monthly premium of $146. For the 70/30 plan, it will continue to be offered at a $0 premium for the Medicare eligible qualified subscriber. Excuse me. For the Medicare eligible spouse, it will be $425. So how do you go about making a change if you want to make a change in 2022? During our open enrollment, October 11th through October 29th, you have two ways to make changes, either online or through the telephone. If you want to do it online, you would go to the State Health Plan's website, click on e-benefits, and then you'll click on Orbit. It'll take you into Orbit. Once you've logged into Orbit, then you'll select the State Health Plan benefit link. If you want to enroll by telephone, contact our Eligibility and Enrollment Support Center by calling 855-859-0966, and we will have extended hours during open enrollment. They'll be open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. We're also going to be holding webinars for our Medicare primary members during the month of October. They actually start October 5th, and we're doing 24 webinars. They'll be hosted by the State Health Plan and Humana. We've got a schedule of these on our table if you'd like to stop by and pick one up. And we'll take a deeper dive into all of the plan options during these webinars. Addresses, I cannot stress enough how important it is to maintain current addresses with the state health plan as well as with Social Security and the state retirement system. Now, if you are thinking about enrolling with one of the Humana plans for 2022, and you currently only have a P.O. Box address on record with the state health plan, we will need to have your physical address. Humana is unable to process an enrollment into their plan options without a physical address. This is based on federal guidelines. So just update your address with the state health plan. We can retain that P.O. Box for your mailing address and use the physical address for enrollment purposes only. Now here's a list of important telephone numbers that will be included in your decision guides. Those decision guides should be going out to you during this next week. But these are handy to keep. We have them located on the back of our frequently asked question document that we have on our table as well. So you have for the Eligibility and Enrollment Support Center, the Humana Customer Service, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, CVS Caremark, and then the Pierce Insurance Agency, which is for dental and vision coverage that you may obtain through the state retirement system. So as I indicated, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to stop at our table, see Jane, my colleague, or myself, and Humana's table for questions relative to the Humana plans. Thank you very much. Richard, would you like to take over? Uh-huh.
I was looking at the unclaimed property and I got something. Roberta, thank you. And as she said, they'll be out there the rest of the day if y'all have any questions. So the agenda, I don't know whether any of y'all are tracking the agenda. Let me explain where we are. So we're supposed to have currently the member benefit, our supplemental information that provided our dental and vision care. We're going to wait on that, okay? We're going to wait just a minute while our local government retirees get back in, and then we're going to move on to lunch, okay? So we'll get there in just a second, and we'll have our local folks come back in, and I'll give you a little update on how we go about lunch. And we'll get started again in just one moment.
Some warmth, so is the door open? Oh, Oh, excuse me.
I know. I know it is. I'm sorry. All right, folks. So, as I mentioned, one of the things I love about meeting is food. So I'm at my favorite part of the agenda, food. I do want to go over a couple of housekeeping things prior to getting to lunch. One is don't forget your yellow forms. If you haven't completed those, please do so. So we can collect those. Just leave them on your table when you leave this afternoon. All right. Next, there's tickets on your table, right? We have some door prizes that we'll be passing out later in the day at the end of the meeting. So make sure you distribute those equitably among those at your table. We've had some folks that sit down and grab all the tickets and kind of look around and say, I got mine, you don't have yours. So make sure you distribute them equitably. You may have one each, you may have two each, or three each. So none each. I'll check it out. We'll make sure you get enough. We'll make sure you have at least one each. Absolutely. All right. So next, we're going to go into lunch. So you've got your salads at your place, and we'll be having two lines, and just split half down the middle, and there's two sides to the buffet, and they'll be served, I believe, as you go, one side of the buffet, I guess, and you'll be served. And if we'll get ready for that and get ourselves ready for lunch, that will be good. Silverware is coming around. We'll get it to your place as well. All right. Bread's coming as well. So one thing I'd like to do just before we get to lunch is I'd like for us to take a moment and bow our heads and be thankful. So let's bow our heads just for one moment. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for this group that has joined us here today. We appreciate their attention, and hopefully they're learning things as they stay here today, and we provide information to them. Now, please guide us as we go our separate ways at the end of the meeting, whether it's to home or other business events. And now bless this food and nourish for our bodies and us to your service. Your name we pray. Amen. All right. So. We got a little time to make up on the agenda, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the program again. We invite legislators to these district meetings. Yesterday we had several of the local legislators show up. Today we have Senator Waddell with us today. I will tell you that Senator Waddell is one of the biggest advocates for state and local retirees in the legislature. She herself is a retired state employee of education, and she lets them know it. And we are so thankful for her representation and her support of retirees in the state Senate. And Senator Waddell, if you will, come on up and give us a few words.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So great to be here. This is always a joy to be at this meeting. I want to thank Richard Rogers. He always puts on such a lovely, informative meeting for us, and we look forward to it. I'm Joyce Waddell, and I represent you in the North Carolina General Assembly. And I served there because you sent me there, and you've kept me there. This is my 4th term, and every year I filed for COLA, cost of living adjustment. Not only do I file that bill, I also have members who are retired to come to Raleigh, we couldn't do it this year, to speak to legislators, and that's important. Look at your emails, look at your phone calls, call your representatives in Raleigh. Email them and write them. Because when I start talking about how high prescription medicines are for us, and now that we've been retired for a long while, you know, I retired in 1995. And imagine the amount of money that I'm receiving in my retirement check is not much more than it was then. So that's why I stand up and speak for COLA, cost of living adjustment. It has to be more. And now we are in the budget season, getting ready to finish the budget. So we got to speak up. And they will say, well, I haven't heard from your members. They're not saying anything. So when they don't hear from you, I don't want to be the lone voice saying that we're spending too much money for medicine, we're spending too much money for groceries, for our rent, for our mortgage, and we're not getting that kind of return from our cost of living. So I need your help. I need you to write letters and to call. And you may think it doesn't make a difference. Yes, it does. It makes a big difference. The more they hear from you, the more they listen. Right now, we had this week off. I was here yesterday, and it's a pleasure to be here because I am a member, and I've been a member of this organization. It's a wonderful organization ever since I retired, and the benefits are just great. I asked for a 5% increase. We have a budget from the governor, one from the Senate, and one from our House of Representatives. Now they're going back and forth to see what dollars will be put there. But I got our members to speak up and to say we must have a COLA. We must have a COLA. And so I want you to be saying the same thing. And I want you to help whoever represents you. And not only that, even if they are in Raleigh, call them and don't let them forget we must have a cost of living adjustment because we need it, and we need it very well. And here's what's happening now. We're getting ready to conclude our budget. We're hoping by next week we'll have some numbers in place. The next thing that's going on in Raleigh now is redistricting. And I've been to 2 meetings concerning redistricting. Last week I went to Statesville, and we had one at Central Piedmont Community College. So they're looking at drawing those lines. And you know, this population in Mecklenburg has increased tremendously. We have a big population increase here and also in the Wake area, in the Raleigh area. So we're going to probably get an additional congressperson. They'll be drawing those lines, as well as our Senate and our House of Representatives lines. We need you, and you are important to us. You are important to what happens in Raleigh. It is your voice that makes a difference. Continue to stay with us. Continue to speak for us. God bless you. Continue to enjoy this meeting. Thank you.
Senator Waddell, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you coming and being such a strong supporter of our interest. Next, we're going to move on down the agenda, and we're going to go to Tom Chesit with Mark III. Mark III is the broker for our supplemental insurance plans as well as our Legal Shield and ID Shield. They also do our standard dental as well as our superior vision. So, Tom, give us a little overview.
Thank you, Richard. Good afternoon. I am Tom Cheswick from Mark III Employee Benefits. We're located here in Charlotte, and we've been working with the association for the past 20 or so years on a variety of different programs. Just going to take a few minutes to go over the standard dental plan, the superior vision plan, the ID Shield and Legal Shield plans. These are all plans that are available to association members, and right now open enrollment is going on through October 25th, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. For those of you who have been around for a little while, you remember that the dental plan used to be with MetLife. As of January 1st, 2020, due to some rate increases they were looking for, we were working with the association, and the dental plan was moved to the standard. So we were able to solidify the rates for a number of years, as well as offer a high-low plan. So now you have two dental options. Both of these plans are what we call passive PPOs. So you can use any dentist you want. If you go out of network, you're going to get reimbursed at the 90th percentile of usual and customary. If you go in network, those dentists have signed a contract with the standard, and they are going to accept a negotiated fee. So that is the way you are going to save the most money out of pocket and also stretch your annual maximum. I'm just going to go through both plans a little bit. You'll see the high plan has no deductible. It has a $2,000 annual maximum. It's going to cover all your preventative services at 100%. It's going to include your cleanings, your exams, your x-rays. It's going to cover your basic services at 60%. That's going to cover your fillings, your root canals, all your periodontal issues, which are your gum issues, gingivectomies and whatnot, as well as extractions, whether they be surgical extractions or just simple extractions. Those are all going to be covered at 60%. And then, of course, your big ticket items are covered at 50%. Your bridges, your dentures, your crowns. The high plan does include dental implants, and those are all covered at 50%, and there are no waiting periods on either plan. So the low plan, and when I talk about the premiums, you'll see the low plan is going to be priced a little bit lower, but of course the benefits kind of go in conjunction with that. So the low plan has a $25 deductible, but that's waived for your preventative services. It also has a $1,000 annual maximum, okay, versus the $2,000 annual maximum. Your preventative services on the low plan, your cleanings, exams, and your x-rays do not count towards that $1,000 maximum, so that helps stretch that out a little bit. Your preventative services are going to be covered the same at 100%, same preventative services. Your basic services are all the same basic services, but they are covered at 50% versus 60% on the high plan. And your major services on the low plan are also covered at 50%, but the low plan does not include implants. So there are a few differences there. Again, no waiting periods on either of these plans. You'll see the rates. Well, sorry about that. The high plan, $47.76 for a member, $74.40 for a member and children. Children can be covered up to age 26. Member and spouse, $107.48. Member full family, $133.68. On the low plan, $36.12 for a member only. $70.56 member and children. $86.56 member and spouse, and $119.96 for a member and all family members. Again, this is considered a passive PPO, so you can go to thestandard.com and look for a dentist in your area or call their 800 number. I get a lot of questions about, well, what's the advantage of going to use a PPO dentist? So a quick example, let's say you go to Dr. A, who's not in network, and he's going to charge you $1,000 for a crown. Plan's going to pay 50% of that $1,000 up to UCR. So the plan's going to pay $500, and then you're going to pay $500 out of pocket. That $500 out of pocket is going to go towards your $2,000 maximum. Let's say you go to dentist B, who is a network provider. He's contracted to give a discount. Those discounts range anywhere from 10, 15% up to 30, 35%. So let's say instead of $1,000, that dentist is going to charge you $800 for that crown. Plan's going to pay 50%. Plan's going to pay $400. You're going to pay $400 out of pocket versus the $500 you would have paid with the non-network provider. And only $400 will go towards your $2,000 maximum, which will help you stretch out your dollars there under the plan. A lot of people, obviously, you've used dentists for a very long period of time. One of the things that I will say is a lot of times when you get big ticket items, implants and whatnot, they're going to refer you somewhere else. That's a great time to sort of look to see if that referral's in network, and if not, maybe look for a referral to do that implant rather than your dentist buddy down the street who's going to maybe not be in network. So you need to shop around a little bit and just try to compare. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the Superior Vision Plan. Superior Vision Plan is a comprehensive vision plan. It's going to provide you with an exam every 12 months after a $20 copay. It's also going to help you pay for frames, lenses, contact lenses, and all of these are part of the plan after a $15 materials copay. You're going to get standard single, bifocal, trifocal, as well as standard progressive lenses, all paid in full after that copay every 12 months. And every 24 months, the plan is going to pay for frames up to $130 retail allowance. You've also got a $120 retail allowance for contact lenses in lieu of eyeglasses. And factory scratch coating is included. And the other thing is all the Superior Vision providers will give discounts on any overages that aren't covered by the plan or any additions you want to purchase. Let's say you went in and you bought a pair of sunglasses. They would give you a discount off of that as well. You do want to use a Superior Vision provider for this plan. The plan does pay out in network benefits, but you're not going to be happy with those. You need to use a Superior Vision provider. You can go to superiorvision.com or call their 800 number, and they will give you information about that. There's another way to participate with Superior Vision, and that is through the discount card. And everybody got this card in their bag. And basically, if you take this card and go to a Superior Vision provider, they are going to give you the discounts listed on this card off of their retail pricing. This is free to you as an association member. So this is a way for you to get a bit of a discount at a Superior Vision provider. Next is ID Shield. So it's pretty hard not to turn on the television or listen to the news or whatever and hear a story about some sort of data breach, Social Security numbers, going lost here, there, wherever. So this ID Shield is an identity theft protection program that is going to monitor all of your personal information on social media as well as the internet. Basically what's going to happen is it's going to basically notify you if someone's using your Social Security number, your date of birth, or whatever. And it's going to notify you if you're doing it. I mean, if you're actually at the car dealership applying to buy a car, you'll actually get a notification saying somebody's trying to run a credit report on you. And you're going to say, well, that's me, and then it's fine. So it's going to do all that monitoring for you, keep you alerted to what's going on with your personal information. You have 24-hour-a-day access to call in. And the most important thing about this program is a lot of these programs will warn you that something's happening, but when something actually happens, if your ID is stolen, they don't do the work for you to get it back. They don't fix it for you. They basically say, okay, this has happened, somebody's stolen your identity, good luck. And I've spoken to a number of people at these meetings. It takes hours of time, sometimes over months, even years of time to try to get things like that straightened out. So ID Shield will provide you with an investigator from Kroll Investigations, and they will do all that legwork for you so you don't have to do it yourself. Cost of the plan is $8.45 for an individual and $15.95 for a family. Lastly, Legal Shield. Legal Shield is a legal plan that gives you access to a lawyer. A lot of us don't have a lawyer on speed dial or on retainer, and things come up now and then where we need a lawyer, and first thing somebody says to themselves is, well, I don't even know a lawyer. Where do I go? So this program gives you access to a dedicated law firm. You call in, you can ask questions, they will write letters on your behalf, they will review documents, they will basically act on your behalf for any problem you potentially have. You can see the list up there. Loans, wills, living wills, healthcare power of attorneys, speeding tickets, IRS issues, divorce, separation. The list goes on. They are going to help you with these things. They're also going to provide discounts. If for some reason you have to go to court and somebody needs to represent you, they're going to discount their normal fees for that. So you'll have access to all of that. The plan is $15.95 a month for an individual and or all family members. And you can buy the Legal Shield and the ID Shield together or separately. So if you add them together for an individual, it would be $24.40 for a family, $28.90. As I mentioned earlier, all the plans that I've talked about are currently in open enrollment through October 25th, okay? If you currently have any of these plans and you don't want to do anything, you just leave it alone and you will roll over into 2022. All the rates I've talked about are the same from last year. There's no change in the dental rates, no change in the vision rates. Everything's remaining the same. So everything will just roll over to 2022. If you sign up for new coverage, your coverage will not be effective until January 1st of 2022, okay? Most of you have gotten some of this information in the mail one way or another, either through letters or enrollment booklet. You've got two ways to enroll for Legal and ID Shield. You can complete the paper application and just mail it into the NCRGEA office, or you can call our call center, the Mark III call center, at 833-444-5220. That's open 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, and there are people on the other end that I work with that will give you any information about these plans that you want, also to help you enroll. You got 4 ways to enroll for dental and vision. You can do it online. Again, you can call the call center. You can do an online submission form from the NCRGEA website at ncrgea.com, or you can do it the old-fashioned way, just mail it in or fax it into the office. The other thing that we recently did a couple of weeks ago was a YouTube webinar where we presented all this information. So if you go to the NCRGEA YouTube channel, you can also view that if you want to look at that later on. I'd be happy to take any questions. I'm also outside for the rest of the program. I appreciate everybody's time. Yes? No, LifeLock is not through the association. Anybody else? Yes? No. No. It's annual. Yeah, the rate remains, they're basically just telling you that the rate is going to remain the same, but you're not locked in for that 2-year period. Thank you very much. Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to come over right now and talk to you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it so much. Yay. You know, it's funny, Tom and I get confused for each other all the time. They can't separate us for some reason. I don't know what the deal is there. But all right, next we have Pat up. She's going to tell you a little about some touring opportunities and travel opportunities through Dream Vacations, Brit Travels. So, Pat, give us a little overview of where we can be going here in the near future.
Thank you, Richard. Thank the association for allowing us to partner with them for the last few years. I'm Pat Hopper. I'm what they call a vacation specialist. That means I like to travel. But we're Dream Vacations, the Brit Travel Group, and we're a family-owned business. We're a small business. And so we take our relationships with you very seriously. We want you to travel with us and then come and travel with us again. And all the details for these trips are done by the owner, which is Karen Britt. She has been doing this for a long time, and she's just amazing at how she puts together all the places you stay, the places you eat, all the sights you see, and she's going to make sure you enjoy every trip. We like to say that we are at your service 24/7 because we don't just send you off by yourself. Usually one or two or maybe 3 or 4 of us will be going with you to make sure you're taken care of. And we actually cater to the mature traveler. Now, you don't have to be mature, okay? Anybody can travel with us, any age. And our goal is to make sure that you have a unique experience on each trip, that it's worry-free, interesting, affordable. We like to make sure that all the extra fees and things are included in your trip, so you're not constantly looking for your wallet to add to that. Where's my, oh, here we are. These are just some of the people that have traveled with us recently. They're having a good time. How many of you in here like to travel? So I'm in the right place today? Okay, good. You may have known us as Carolina Cruise and Tours the last time we were here. And we're still the same company, the same people, but we have partnered with the World Travel Holdings. And they are one of the world's leading cruise agencies and award-winning leisure travel companies. And what that has done for us, it's given us more perks that we can pass on to you, better pricing, and more trips available to us. We work with almost every cruise line, every airline, all the different companies. So what we do is when somebody comes up with a good deal, we take it. And whoever gives us the best pricing, that's where we go. We do motor coach tours, and I just got back from New England, the end of August. It was a wonderful trip. We flew into Boston. The motor coach picked us up 2.5 hours to the White Mountain Hotel and Resort, which is a beautiful place. And actually, while they were down for COVID, they did a $3.5 million renovation. And everything's new. The carpeting, the bedding, everything, the furniture, everything's new. But from the time you start with us until the time you go home, we're right there with you to make sure you're having a good time. So we are always at your service. So how we've done things a little bit differently with COVID is, well, for about 18 months we did nothing like you. But now things are opening up. We're doing smaller groups. Our motor coach holds 56 people. On the trip we took to New England, there was only 24. So we made sure that everybody could spread out the seat instead of being packed in. We sanitize the motor coach. So we want to make sure you're safe and healthy, and all the 3 W's that you all knew about. A little bit about that trip also. We're doing the same trip on October the 17th. And I don't know if any of you can pack your bags quickly and go. We have maybe a couple rooms left. You would have to call Karen and double check with her. She's sorry she couldn't be here today, but she's home taking care of all the details. And actually, if you come out to my booth, if you haven't already given us your email address, give us your email and tell us where you like to go. And it helps us plan our trips. And the email will send you a flyer on the next trip that's going out. These are just some of the places we've been recently. Washington, D.C., the Amish country, the Sight and Sound Theater has just opened up again. This year they're doing Esther, and that is an amazing theater. If you've never been there, that's something you should do. We've done the train out of West Virginia, the Biltmore, Niagara Falls. Canada is not open to us yet, but we hopefully will be very soon. Charleston is wonderful during the Christmas season, all the lights and decorations and the shows that they have going on. These are just some of the happy faces that travel with us, since I don't have a lot of other slides since we haven't been doing too much. That's Karen in the front and her husband there in the blue vest. That was the last cruise that I took, was October of 2019. We did a riverboat cruise. We flew to London. We went to Switzerland, France, Germany, the Netherlands. And that's just some of my friends from Apex that went along. That's a picture. It's hard to see up at the top, but that's what the White Mountain Resort looks like. One thing we did on that trip is we go the hotels in New Hampshire. We go to Vermont and Maine, and in Portland we had a lobster lunch, and it was a ferry boat, and they turned it into a restaurant. It's right at the end of the pier there. Great lunch. We had to teach some of the people how to actually break those lobsters up and enjoy them. That's Karen's mother. We celebrated her birthday on one of the cruises. There's usually entertainment on all the trips that we do. We like to celebrate with you. Any kind of birthday, anniversary, whatever you want to celebrate, retirement, whatever. On the New England trip, there was one couple there, and they were so cute. We celebrated their 3rd anniversary. They were both 81 years old. They had lost their spouse and married, and they were really cute. So a lot of people tell me they don't have time to travel, but hopefully, since most of you are probably retired, we hope that you will find a little bit of time to come and travel with us. There's a lot to see in this country and anywhere we might go. So like Karen says, we're beginning to open up. The cruises are starting to go. The travel places are opening up. One of the things that I have a flyer on right now is a Viking cruise going out April 25th. It's called the Pacific Coast Explorer. And this is a brand new ship built in 2019. And 2020, obviously, it didn't go anywhere. And they couldn't get it to Australia like they wanted to, so now they're doing the California coastline. And this is a great deal if you can pack your bags quickly. If you sign up in the month of September, which, what's it, 2 or 3 days? You can get up to $325 off of each cabin. The cabins are all veranda. They have 5 different excursions, and we go out of Los Angeles and end up in British Columbia. You do need to be vaccinated, and you would need a passport. And if you're interested in that at all, get Karen's card and call her so she can get you registered. She actually, too, let me know yesterday, too, that the cruise lines, they're not full right now. So they want as many people as they can to sign up. So there's a Royal Caribbean cruise going out of Florida, 9 days, 8 nights, to St. Thomas, St. Kitts, St. Martin, and it's November 27th, right after Thanksgiving. Another one was a Viking river cruise for the Christmas market. And we're getting a lot of last-minute deals right now. So, like I say, if you can pack your bags quickly, check with Karen if you can do this, because there's some that's really, really cheap that they want to fill up the cruise line. So anybody can travel with us, your family, friends. You don't have to be a member of the association. And let me tell you, the only trip you're going to regret is the one you don't take. So if you're healthy and can travel, do it now. And come travel with us. Let us help you celebrate your dream vacation. Thank you.
Pat, thank you so much. We've got a couple of videos we're going to share with you right now. The first is Access Perks. It's a discount program that we offer. It's online. It's free to our members. And then if you want a grander discount through the program, you can give us $18 a year, I believe. And so we're going to run a little video explaining how that works. Rusty?
Let's take a look at the savings website and how it works to save people money on all their everyday purchases. As of today, there are over 300,000 participating businesses in the program, and they're spread out over a variety of savings categories. You can see them here along the left-hand side of the screen. Now, these merchants, they offer discounts anywhere from 10%, 25%, sometimes 50% or more. The average offer across all the providers in the program is about 36%. Now, if you take the dining category, and that's my favorite, it's one of our most popular, the average savings there is about 44% per redemption. And that covers about 70,000 restaurants nationwide. Now, from here, if you're looking for discounts in your area, all you have to do is type a destination into this top bar. Now, since our program is especially popular with families, I thought I would start us out in the happiest place on earth, Anaheim, California. So let's do that. Wow, that pulls in a whole lot of results. Well over 1,000 in about a 20-mile radius. Now, that's a lot, so maybe we should break it down a little by category. We'll start with the dining and food categories, since, like I say, that's my favorite. Okay, wow, that's a lot of recognizable names. You've got Burger King, Domino's, Olive Garden, Togo's, IHOP. Looks like you can basically save on every meal of the day if you want, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. Now, I love Marie Callender's since it pretty much has something for everyone, so I will click on that merchant, pop up a details page, and straight from here, you can just print and save. So click this big Redeem Now button, and you can see it's setting me up to print this coupon. And then from there, I simply take it in, show it to the cashier at the cash register, and now I'm getting half off the price of the second entree, and that probably saved me $5 or $6 on a single transaction. Now, again, that's just Anaheim. So let's look at another destination. Let's try somewhere, let's go right in the center of the country, maybe go to Nebraska. How does that sound? Go right in the heartland. Let's do Omaha. And if we enter Omaha into the search, again, well, you can see another, well over 100 restaurants. And then if we take off the restaurants filter, We're back up to over 700 businesses in and around Omaha where these discounts are available. So it doesn't matter if you're traveling cross country or shopping in your backyard, you're going to save every step of the way.
All right. In your packet, you have an Amplifon flyer. I do want y'all to take notice of that. It's a great program. You can get your hearing tested for free. And then also they have a wide array of options for hearing aids at great prices. I did have a personal experience with this. My parents are both retired state employees. My mom was having trouble hearing. She went out, got an appointment through Amplifon, went there right in town, got her hearing checked, and they came back. She went back, and they said, yes, Miss Rogers, you could, you probably could use a hearing aid to hear the background sounds and all the information you want. And so she said, all right, I'll try it. So she tried it. She went back a couple times. They fixed it. She got her fine-tuned, and it was great. She really loves her hearing aids. And not to be left out, my mother thought it'd be a good idea for my father to get his hearing checked as well. They checked his hearing. Results, yes, Mr. Rogers, you could use a hearing aid. And my dad looked at him and said, I hear every damn thing I want to hear. So the point here is go and get your hearing checked, right? And if you hear everything you want to hear, that's fine, but at least you'll know if you have some issues, all right? So do take advantage of that. Next, we're going to run another brief video, and we're going to go through the Social Security Administration. Has a brief video about how to get signed on and logged into one of their apps.
My Social Security is a free, personal, and secure account that puts you in control with access to your information anytime, anywhere. Signing up for a My Social Security account is quick, secure, and easy. Just go to socialsecurity.gov/myaccount and select Create an Account. Start by agreeing to the terms of service. Then enter some personal information to tell us who you are and to verify your identity. Next, create your account details like your username and password. Select how you'll receive your security code, either by email or text, and then enter the code once you receive it. And remember to choose email or text under Message Center Preferences to receive courtesy notifications about your account. Once you select Submit, you will have created your personal My Social Security account. It's as simple as that. If you need extra assistance in creating your account, please contact our hotline at 1-800-772-1213 and say, Help Desk. Create your free My Social Security account today. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
All right, that's great. I'm still trying to figure out how that person writes so fast. Next, we have a brief, so the State Employees Credit Union was unavailable to be here as well. In our last video, we'll run a brief overview of the State Employees Credit Union and some of their offerings.
Are you a member of State Employees Credit Union? If not, take the opportunity to join and experience all the benefits of membership. The credit union offers a wide range of deposit, financial advisory, and lending services, including the SECU Fast Auto Loan and SECU Fast Mortgage. Loan rates have recently dropped, and the credit union has also expanded its fixed-rate mortgage offerings, so now is a great time to consider a purchase or refinance. As contactless service remains a priority, SECU provides secure account access through our website, the SECU mobile app, the SECU automated voice response service Ask SECU, over 1,100 cash points ATMs, and by phone at our 24/7 member services. That's in addition to 273 branches providing in-branch and drive-through services statewide. We look forward to serving you.
All right. Now, with the Medicare Patrol Program, I never can get that. Seniors Medicare, how could I forget seniors? Seniors Medicare Patrol Program, we have Jeannie. You folks in the local government have already heard and listened to Jeannie, but she's going to talk a little bit more about how to protect yourselves and the Medicare program from fraud. And Jeannie, come on up and fill us in.
Thank you, Richard. We're going to try to get you out here on time as close as possible. I just want to thank, and I forgot this yesterday, Rusty, thank you for being my AV person and the person here yesterday and today to make this happen, and for the awesome music. Music makes everything better, so I love the music. But thank you, and I'm sorry I forgot you yesterday. And she's not in here, but Donna Riggs with the RGEA is retiring. I think Thursday's her last day, and I've been working with Donna for 11 years. I actually have been with SHIP for 25, so I went back to the Lee Hammond, Janice Steele days, and then we had Ed Regan. But I'm certainly going to miss Donna, but I've got her contact information in my phone. I'm going to stay in touch. But we just so appreciate the opportunity to partner with the North Carolina Retired Government Employees Association. It's a great organization, and anytime I speak to retired school personnel or retired state employees, I always talk about NCRGEA, and hopefully one day I'm going to be sitting where you guys are in the Greensboro area, and I'm going to be a member of RGEA. It won't be anytime soon, but that is my goal one day, is to be a member of the NCRGEA, because they do great work, and I commend you guys for being members and staying involved and active as retired state employees. So I'm here to mention our wonderful SMP program. If you came to my booth, which is right outside the door, I have taken it down because I have to be on a conference call at 3. So I've dismembered my booth, but hopefully you picked up this postcard. I tell people it's larger than a business card, so it's really hard to lose. But Senior Medicare Patrol, there's one in every state, is actually based within our SHIP program, which is within our Department of Insurance. So I bring you greetings from Mike Causey, our insurance commissioner, and the rest of the Department of Insurance staff that are here to serve you and answer any question that you may have about any kind of insurance. So if you picked up one of these large business cards, our toll-free number is on it. It's not just a SHIP number. It is a number for the entire Department of Insurance. And we also have a wonderful website. If you call this number Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're going to get some great assistance. And again, I know insurance of any kind can be confusing and maybe a little overwhelming, but I just want you to know that there's someone here for you on a state level in Raleigh that can help you with your any kind of insurance-related questions. So please reach out to us and let us help you. On the back, it does tell you some things that we at SHIP can help you with. Remember that SHIP stands for the Seniors Health Insurance Information Program. However, we're here to serve and assist anyone that's on or going on Medicare, regardless of age. We are neutral, objective, unbiased, and any medical or financial information that you share with us is kept confidential. So we're here to serve you. Our services are provided at no cost, which makes it even better. And we don't sell or endorse, and we don't receive a commission. We spread everything out on the table. That's all plans, all companies. We share prices with you, and we help you so that when you make a decision, it's one that you feel good about, comfortable with, and confident in. So let us help you with any Medicare-related question that you may have. Our program is wonderful because we've got a great call center in Raleigh, but what makes us special is that we have a coordinating agency in all 100 counties of North Carolina. You may call our office in Raleigh, you may visit our website, and we list who the coordinating sites are, Alamance through Yancey counties. Because we're here in Mecklenburg County and it's a large county, we have 2 coordinating sites. The senior centers, and Trina Palmer is our longtime SHIP coordinator that coordinates our volunteers through the senior centers, and there's several of those scattered across different areas of Mecklenburg County. And we also have the Shepherd Center, and they used to be at Trinity Presbyterian, but they've moved, and I apologize, I can't recall the name of that church, but thank you, St. John's. And is that Baptist? I was thinking St. John's Baptist, so thank you for sharing that with me. And Holly Whitfield is our coordinator there. But we've got about 50 or 60 excellent SHIP volunteers in Mecklenburg County that can assist you. They're certified. They, again, want to help you. Our goal at SHIP is to help you get the best Medicare-related product, and that is benefit-wise, for the best cost. And so we're always looking for volunteers. We have a box on our website that says, if you're interested in being a volunteer, click here. It is, Medicare's complex, but it's interesting. And it's very rewarding to help people make good decisions and also to help people save money. So if you're interested in learning about Medicare and putting it back out in the community, please consider being a SHIP volunteer. It's a very worthwhile cause. So, as Richard said, I'm Jeannie Skepsey. I'm the Ship Field Operations Manager, and I'm actually based in Greensboro. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about Medicare fraud and abuse. And I'm not sure if you guys picked these pamphlets up at my booth. If you did not, I brought some extras in. It's what we're going to talk about right now, but I'll put them right here. And before you leave, if you want to pick one up, that would be great. Those of you that were in my breakout session heard me talking about something that's being mailed out within the next week or so. And what might that be? The Medicare and You Handbook. Now, this is the 2021. The 2022 is on the Medicare.gov website for your review, so you may go out and locate that and look at it. But this week and next are the weeks that the government has scheduled to mail out the Medicare and You Handbooks. And I remind people, the government puts a lot of money into printing and mailing this handout, and we want you to treat it like you would an owner's manual. You are a Medicare consumer. You purchased Part A when you were working, and you pay for Part B now, more than likely. You are a consumer, and we want your Medicare to work well for you. So I want you to think about this booklet a little differently when it comes to your doorstep. And if you've got 2 people in one household, you get one book either to share or fight over, whichever you choose to do. But put it somewhere where you will remember it throughout the year so that you can reference it. I tell people, if nothing else, look in the front page on the inside, page 2. That tells you what's new for next year, and it has the page numbers. On page 3 is a table of contents that's really helpful in determining what's in certain lessons. And if you can't find what you're looking for there, then please go to page 10, and that is where it starts the index. And it's A through Z, and it's got a lot of topics and a lot of subjects. And more than likely, you will find what you're looking for in that index. So please use this as a reference. I tell people 9 out of 10 of the questions that I receive, you've got the ruby slippers on your feet the entire time, because that answer's right there in the handbook. And what if it's after 5 or before 8 or a holiday or weekend and you can't get to me? So please remember your owner's manual. Segue into what we're going to talk about now. Section 8 is Know Your Rights and Protect Yourself from Fraud. And this is where our Senior Medicare Patrol program comes in. So I'm going to try to juggle the microphone and the clicker here. So within our SHIP program, the Seniors Health Insurance Information Program, which is a division of the Department of Insurance that was created back in 1986 to help people with Medicare questions, within that program is our Senior Medicare Patrol program. Good news is every state has a SHIP with one I. That's a State Health Insurance Assistance Program, and our number is actually on the back of the Medicare and You Handbook. And within every state is also a Senior Medicare Patrol program. And Senior Medicare Patrol talks to people about Medicare fraud, abuse, and waste. Now, question, how many of you think Medicare is good coverage, or really good coverage, and you're thankful for your Medicare? Okay? How many of you want to protect Medicare for years and years to come so that as you get older and you need health insurance, Medicare is always going to be there? We all agree on that, correct? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to be a good steward of your Medicare benefits through the North Carolina Senior Medicare Patrol Program. So North Carolina SMP, and we don't wear badges and we don't carry a gun with one bullet in our pocket, but this program has been housed within the Department of Insurance in the SHIP division since September of 2003. We operate on federal funds received from the Administration for Community Living, or ACL, and there are 54 programs nationwide, one in every state, as well as the U.S. territories. Our goal at SHIP is to empower both seniors and people on Medicare under 65 with disabilities to prevent healthcare fraud, waste, and abuse through education and outreach, events like this one today. In North Carolina, all SHIP volunteers that have been certified, and we complete an online training course to become SHIP certified. You're dual agents if you're a SHIP volunteer in North Carolina, because you're also a Senior Medicare Patrol volunteer. We teach our volunteers, every person that they touch through an outreach event or through one-on-one counseling, we talk about Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse, and the SMP program. Our services are provided at no cost to the consumer, which is great. $68 billion with a B dollars was lost last year to Medicare fraud nationally. That's a lot of money. This equals $186 million $301,370 a day. That's a lot of money, isn't it? That could very well be spent on productive things, but it's being wasted in Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. The role of SMP is to empower Medicare beneficiaries to prevent healthcare fraud through education, outreach, and counseling endeavors. And there's another statistic that I didn't mention in bullet number 2 that you can read for yourself. So through our efforts, Medicare beneficiaries become good stewards of their benefits. It's all about us taking part into protecting the Medicare Trust Fund. So how can we stop Medicare fraud? First of all, if you picked up one of these burgundy pamphlets and you open it up, there's 3 columns or 3 panels. Protect, detect, and report. So when we talk about protecting, what do you think we need to protect? Your Medicare number. What did your Medicare number used to be? Your Social Security number. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, well, that's kind of not smart, right? So when Medicare was created back in 1966, maybe it was okay to carry your Social Security card and your Medicare card in your wallet or your purse. But we don't leave our storm doors unlocked overnight anymore. I don't even leave mine unlocked during the day, right? So it's not the same world that it was years ago. So if you have, and I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, if you have your light blue Social Security card in your wallet or your purse, when you get home, please take that out and put it somewhere safe. I saw that back there in the left corner. So put it somewhere where it's safe. How many times do you need your Social Security card? Not many. Now, if you're going to the DMV or somewhere where you need to take it, then put it in your wallet or your purse, take it and use it, and then when you get back home, what do you need to do? Take it out. Do not carry that on your person on a daily basis. Carl Malden said, don't leave home without it. He wasn't talking about your Social Security card, okay? Definitely leave that at home because a lot of damage could be done if that gets in the wrong hands. With the new Medicare numbers that have been out for about 3 or 4 years now, it's no Social Security number. I tell people that number is randomly assigned and it means nothing to no one, okay? I know we've got some English teachers in the room and that's a double negative, but it means nothing to no one. So you can safely carry your red, white, and blue Medicare card, but protect it like you would a debit or credit card. Don't yell it across the room. Don't give it out. If someone calls you on the phone, do not give that information out, okay? So protect that very securely. The next thing is we want you to, again, treat it like you would a debit or credit card. And never provide it to anyone unless you know what it's being used for. We ask people for their Medicare number when we're counseling people through SHIP because we need to get into the Medicare website. But you know that we're a reliable source, right? Just if caller ID pops up and it's your best friend Betty Sue and you answer the phone, it might not be Betty Sue because these scammers are making it look like someone you know or some agency you know, and it's really not. So don't give personal and confidential information out over the phone. We want you to detect what comes out every month or every quarter. Your Medicare statements, your summary notice, your explanations of benefits from your other insurance companies. And again, treat that like you would a debit or credit card statement. When it comes in, open it up and look at it. I had a client that one time said to me, will you help me? I don't understand. And I said, well, I know that they can be very confusing. And so sure, I'll help you. And you know what they handed me? An unopened envelope. And I said, well, it's kind of hard to understand something until you open it up. So we even have letter openers, but open that statement up. And I'm not saying that once you get inside, you'll understand everything. Remember, it's the government. But there's always a number there for you to call. At SHIP, we don't have access to claims history, but we do have a special toll-free number that we call if we're SHIP trained, and we've got a unique ID number that we can get information on your behalf so that we can relate and share things with you, okay? So protect that Medicare number, detect by looking at your statements, and then if something doesn't look or sound right, please call your insurance company, call Medicare, call your healthcare provider and question. And if something still doesn't sound right, call the S&P number that's within our SHIP, that's within the Department of Insurance. If it's a simple billing error, it needs to be corrected and resubmitted, and we can help your provider with that, okay? If it is fraudulent or abusive or waste, we can deal with that too. We work with the OIG and we work with the AG. And we can do it anonymously so your healthcare provider doesn't know that you're the one who called us. But if you don't report it and something's suspected that's incorrect, it's going to keep happening to other people, and we don't want that. Now, if you get a statement, you go, well, it's just $1 that it's off. That's not too bad, right? But what I want you to think of is that every person in the country, if they're wrong by just $1, every person on Medicare, how much money is that? That's a lot of money wasted. And we want Medicare to be around for years and years to come. So read your summary notices. Keep a healthcare journal. We have those at our SHIP office in Raleigh. Or you can have a little notebook of sorts that you can write things down in and plot things in and keep up with them. When you check out of your healthcare provider's office, they don't give them these days. Ask for a receipt or a statement so that when your insurance statements roll in, you can match everything up just to make sure everything is correct and accurate, okay? You may have to ask for that, but I would encourage you to do that. Ask questions if you're not sure of something. That's your right as a consumer, whether you're purchasing a Medicare product or you're getting something from the store. Ask questions. File an appeal using your Medicare summary notices. It always tells you on your MSN how to ask for an appeal, and you have a certain amount of time to do that. And then again, if you're uncertain or you feel like you're getting nowhere or no one's listening or no one cares, we hear that sometimes. Well, I called to report it, and they act like they really didn't care. Call Senior Medicare Patrol, and we can help with it. These are some current scams. People have asked me about these recently. With good things, vaccinations and our CDC card, there's people out there trying to figure out bad things to do with good things. I wish they would make better use of their time, but they don't for some reason. That's just the kind of person that they are. But with our vaccinations come these scams. Medicare does not go door to door. They will not call you for anything. There's some genetic testing scams going on. Durable medical equipment and supplies, there's a lot of scams out there related to that. The way that you go about getting equipment, when you go to the pharmacy to get a prescription, what do you have to have in your hand? The prescription from the doctor, right? You don't go to the pharmacy and say, well, I think I need this medicine. Will you call my doctor and see if they'll write me a prescription? That's not how it works. The same is applicable for durable medical equipment. If it's something that's medically necessary and your healthcare provider thinks you need it, they're going to write you a prescription for it, and then you go to pick it up at a DME supplier. That's how that works. So if you see these signs along the highway or someone calls and says, we can get you a back brace, that's not how that works, okay? And as much information as you can collect from that person, then you can report that and hopefully stop it in its tracks. Telemarketing, some good things have come from us working at home, but some bad things have come from us working at home, and our phone ringing off the hook with telemarketers is one of those bad things, and I know that firsthand. And also billing for services that are not rendered. Get a copy of your statement before you leave your provider's office. Wait for your Medicare statements to come in, open them up, and compare everything so that it matches. These are some statistics for our Senior Medicare Patrol grant period, which runs from June the 1st of one year to May 31st of the next year. And you can see how many people we've reached, but we can reach many, many more. We go out and speak to civic groups and church groups. Just give us a call. We want to share our message because it's just that important. Again, if you hear of any Medicare scams or you think something's fraudulent or abusive, again, maybe a simple billing error, then call the Senior Medicare Patrol program. And every state has one if you know someone else is on Medicare in another state. Ours is based within our SHIP, which again is based within our Department of Insurance. So give us a call at this number, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or visit our website there. How many of you remember the Brady Bunch? Okay, that tells our age, doesn't it? Whose picture was in the very smack dab middle of that Brady Bunch board? Alice, right, for a car. You guys get this person a car. So Alice was in the middle, right? In the middle of our Brady Bunch board on our SHIP website is Senior Medicare Patrol, so you can't miss it. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. Again, thank you, Richard, and the RGEA staff. And Donna, this is my last meeting with you. I'm not going to cry, but congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for everything.
Jenny, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate all the work that SHIP does for everyone across the state, and particularly the work you do on our behalf as well. So we got one more thing, two more things on the agenda. Well, one thing's not on the agenda. One is just introducing staff. Jenny gave you a little update on Donna. So Donna, she is the one that puts these meetings together. She's our communications director, and she is going to be retiring this week. Yeah. She keeps reminding me of when it's happening, and I'm going, okay. But we certainly appreciate everything you've done for the association, Donna, and let's give her a little round of applause, please. Earlier you met Daryl Fulmer, our community liaison, and she's off and running and doing a great job, and we thank her for all the work she's done. Karen Jarvis, who's here helping us today, she has just retired, and she left us, but we couldn't quite do without her on the road, so we brought her back, and she's supporting us as well. And she happened to bring her husband along, Rusty, who is our technical person, and Rusty, appreciate everything that y'all have done as well. Now, we need to get the tickets out, and we're going to give away a few things. Now, there's a couple ground rules we have on this. Yes? Oh, those on live stream, thank you. Your gift is coming in the mail, I promise.